Excellent. Oh yeah,
We are
oh, wait,
live.
check. Nice.
Okay, nice.
All
I'll
right.
save as the formal intro for
For when we
pre-recording.
actually,
Yeah,
yeah.
when we're actually.
Or yeah, you're gonna pre-record it. Okay.
Oh yeah, that's way more sense.
Go in
Yeah.
normally, so I guess we can just sort of go in as if we're post intro, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
We have
lovely.
Yeah.
zero viewers. Let's go.
Hopefully a couple
Lock
of
it in.
people have a little look. Okay, yeah. So the plan is we're gonna go down a big list of albums. Have you got the albums on the screen?
Yeah, they're on screen right now.
Excellent.
Nice.
And yeah, we got 45 albums. That's a lot of music to
That's
talk about.
It's a
too
lot
many
of
albums.
It's a pretty good year for music this year, I thought. I
No
would say
way.
one of the better years.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I said this, I think before Bounce got here, but I think this is probably the year where going back to things for the album of the year, I've had the most be like, oh, I wasn't feeling this initially, but I was like, oh, actually, this was a fantastic album, and I didn't quite give it the time. So, yeah, no, it's really, really solid list.
I really thought this year was gonna be the year where I wasn't gonna get to say this is the best year of music in a long time. But it
Yeah,
is.
me too.
I think it is the best year of music for the decade so far. Still.
Yeah, like I feel like a lot of it came together in the back half of the year.
Yeah,
A lot-
exactly.
a lot of
Same with
the,
2023.
like,
That was.
Yeah, a lot of the later releases were a lot better. I thought some of the bigger ones earlier in the year, I thought were
Yeah.
disappointing.
All right.
And yeah, I think it's interesting that it wasn't quite the records that I was really expecting, other than a couple of really obvious ones.
Couple, yeah.
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 For
yeah.
chat, do I need to adjust any volume? We have 5 people in chat. Am I significantly louder than the others? It kind of looks like it is, but let me know.
It's his Canadian favoritism.
Yeah, exactly.
The other thing on this list is we broke the rule of not of one album per artist. So we broke it sparingly. So we got a couple of repeats on it.
I think there's two. There's only 2 artists? Oh, 3 artists. 3 artists where that we've got.
3 artists. With the only exception being Weed 420 is only on here once, because I don't know. They just are. They
Only
could probably
by-
have all their albums on here, to be honest.
Yeah, this is the thing is like when there's like 2 projects, it's okay. I remember which year was it where we just put every single Audrey album into one because she
Well, that's
released
what
like 10 records that were amazing.
That's
And
what I
it's
did
just like,
with
I
Weed
don't know,
420 this year, and on my list was just like
Yeah.
Weed 420. All of the output goes in one spot.
Just
which
the band in 2025.
yes.
Yeah, what I will say is I do think the one that we've got on here is the best. So
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely the correct pick if you're going to go for one.
Yeah. All right.
Just quickly reposting this in the Modulation server as well.
That's a
This
good
is my
idea.
it's my one time a year to poach all of Band's viewers.
And your one time a year to
And John.
ping at everyone.
Yes, I'm gonna drop a cheeky at everyone in that chat as well. We're live. Everyone, whole server pinged. Excellent. Okay, so we are going to go down the list at random. Should I pick the first album? Should we get started?
Yeah.
Too late. I've clicked it anyway.
Okay, fair enough. What is our first record on?
So I've got a randomizer, and thank God that we just re-listened to this one. It's DJ Galen's "The Death of Music."
Amazing. Okay.
So Bound didn't realize we were talking about this album until an hour ago.
Yes. Thank God it was 30 minutes long.
Yep. So I mean, I guess I can introduce this one. So I mean, DJ Galen, aka Galen Tipton. This is their first, I would say, proper full-length dance record since I believe 2018, 2019, and alongside the collaborative record with Shmoo earlier this year, which is also fantastic. I think she's been in sort of the best music releasing form of her career today, and I think particularly this new one is absolutely phenomenal. The Death of Music, it did kind of remind me in a way of Dynamic Shroud's Faith and Persona, which of course made by collaborator Keith Rankin, who's worked with Galen Tipton before. But yeah, I think this is probably my favorite singular record from them to date. It really takes sort of Jersey Club and footwork into a completely erratic, hyperactive direction beyond even the standard constraints of the genre. And I think there are just a couple moments that really, really stick out to me on this thing. It's one of the most energizing sort of dance records I've listened to this year, and one that I've kept coming back to.
I think if you'd picked the other one, I'd be on board. But
that's kind of where I'm at too.
Oh no, I picked the wrong one. That's okay. That's fine.
I really like Duclaws, but I wasn't as convinced by this one as I think it's still a great and interesting album. But yeah, I just wasn't as sure of it. I guess Bounce had the most recent listen, right? So
yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I admittedly pretty busy while I was listening to it. I wasn't like all that focused because I was setting up for this and whatever, but it's a lot of fun, and I really like the Giant Claw feature at the end. We're going to talk about Giant Claw more soon.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, for me, this isn't like anything close to a lock, but I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun with it.
To be honest, this was one on here that I was not really expecting to make the cut, but one that I think I just represented so much of my listening in this year and really enjoyed a lot of that I felt had to be on here. But I totally understand, particularly because there is, as we sort of referenced, a similar record to this that I think is more likely to make the cut as a sort of top 10 release. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy for this not to be like one of straight onto the shortlist, but I think it really needs to be mentioned because I got a lot out of this one.
Yeah, I'm glad to see it mentioned because a couple of years ago when we started this podcast, we talked about weird, quirky electronic music a lot more, and I think that it's a good callback. But yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so next up, Backwash, Only Dust Remains.
Oh god, this one's mine.
Dan, do you want to take this?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm very glad that we got to talk about a Backwash album at all this year, because I haven't gotten to talk about her on this podcast, and she's like one of my all-time favorite artists.
Good point, actually. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, so this album is like definitely it's post the kind of industrial like horrorcore trilogy, and I was really curious to see where she would go from there, because at the end of that trilogy it looked like she was going to go in a much like brighter direction, and on this album she does kind of abandon and strip back those industrial elements, but this is by no means a less dark record than that one. And I mean, I talked about this in my list and at the end of the or during the podcast that I did with Harry, because we split it up because we were not all available at the same time. But for me, I think stripping back those sounds does make it feel more mature and less kind of like metal in general is a genre that's like pretty narrow in its ambitions, and in a way kind of juvenile, and it's a lot of fun, and it can do some really interesting things, but I feel like putting more of a focus on just the pure essence of hip hop for it gave it a better opportunity to tackle some of the topics that feel a lot less self-centered than her previous albums. There is a lot more outward looking on this record, and so I don't know. I think this is her best album. She's one of my favorite artists ever, so I would absolutely love to see her make this list. But I don't even know at all Evan's opinion on this record. So
this was a record that I was initially, again, I kind of missed some of the production's sort of idiosyncrasies that were very common on that sort of horrorcore trilogy that you referenced, particularly like just the way her voice is framed. Initially, I didn't really get as much out of it on this record, but with repeated listens, I think it's, from a writing perspective, by far her best record. I think from a technical perspective is also her best record. And even though the production didn't quite hit in the same way initially, I think there is a sort of compositional element to this record that is a bit more complex and a bit more dynamic, that elevates it a bit above some of those other records in that respect. So whilst like from a pure sonic perspective, it's like I do prefer aspects of some of the other records, but taking it as a whole package and sort of removing it from that context of what I was expecting, having gone back to this, I'm like, actually, this probably is her best record, which is something I think I've said about every single Backwash album that has come out. I think she's continued to make. I mean, at this point, this is her fifth album, and I would say each one has been better than the last, which is absolutely phenomenal consistency, and just you can tell the work she puts into changing and elevating her style, and just always moving forward. For an artist where there's a lot of consistent themes to her records in terms of the actual approach, she's always adapting and trying to, I guess, provide a different perspective on her feelings and on what she's trying to present in a way that I think is really, really admirable. Yeah, I'd definitely be happy to see this one on here on the shortlist at the very least.
All right.
I'm gonna take an outvoting here because I would probably not advance this one. However, I think this album's great. It's grown on me a lot. I think it's worse than the Horrorcore trilogy, and I think I can name 10 better hip hop albums this year.
Yeah, so this is my sort of limiting factor here, is that there are some really, really fantastic hip hop records on here. I think I would put this on the shortlist for now and just see how it battles out between those sort of other records. I think.
I'm completely fine with that, especially if it's sort of two people in sport. But
yeah,
I'm a little unsure about this one.
I was sort of with you, Harry. I think until I re-listened to it like a couple days ago, and I was it finally clicked for me in a way that it hadn't previously. So yeah, I was sort of with you initially, but I think it has grown on me to the point where I would kind of like to see it on here, at least on the shortlist.
Okay, let's move it over.
All right,
and then do you want to delete the ones that we've done already?
Yeah. I would also just quick sidetrack. I don't have edit access.
Oh, let me just fix that really quick. Can edit. Try refreshing.
Yeah, there we go.
And then, so the first one we talked about was
DJ Galen.
DJ Galen. I'll just
which we can put it like just make a second list near the bottom, or you
just put it like down to below the list or something.
Yeah, probably put it below the list so that we have a visual of what's getting taken away.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, next album ready to chat about is the Zayok album, In Elsewhere. This is one of the craziest things I've ever heard in my life. And I think there are more substantive albums, but I can't really think of much else in the electronic space that blew my head off this year, other than maybe the OOO album that we'll talk about in a bit. I just the production on this is absolutely unbelievable. It's like 10 years in the future. I don't know if we discussed it. It was like September, and we didn't really.
No, I don't think we.
I listened to it for the first time yesterday. So
this was one of Octavia's recommendations.
Oh, that definitely tracks.
Yeah.
So there's a couple records on here that, well, it's difficult to talk about this record for me in terms of how I came into it without sort of referencing another artist that we are also going to talk about later, which is, I guess, what I'm going to say. I guess what I'm going to say is, before we talk about this record, there's been a lot of Jane Remover clones popping up, and there's a certain style of production that it's got to the point where I turn on a record and I just roll my eyes a little bit, and I thought this was going to be one of these records, and it just was not. I think particularly the songwriting from a sort of more R&B perspective, I think really elevates this thing. It adds something different to this production style, and I think it's definitely more out there than a lot of other records in that sense, in terms of how this thing just sounds. Yeah, it has a lovely progression to it. I think it's sort of it sort of is it has that sort of irony sort of blend across the first sort of few tracks, and as it goes on, the sort of more emotional core of the record sort of exposes itself. I think the ending run of tracks on this thing is absolutely incredible. Yeah, this was a record that, yeah, I have ended up really really loving in quite a short period of time. I've listened to this a bunch over the last couple weeks. Again, this is one that I was not expecting to want on the shortlist, but I would want, at least for now, definitely.
Yeah, I would be happy to put this on the short list. I listened back to back to this and the OOO album for the first
I
time,
also
and
did
so
this.
I mixed them up a fair bit in my head.
Yeah, they're
But
quite similar.
this is the one of those two that I preferred. I thought
Okay.
this
Yeah,
was really
me too.
excellent. And I still prefer another album that we'll talk about later. In this sound. I'll just say it. This is very Lucy Bedrock. Um,
Yeah.
the Lucy Bedrock mixtape that we'll be talking about is a lot more diving into the kind of rage sound, similarly to what Jane Remover and like the digicore stuff. This Zayok, or is it Zayok? That's how I've been saying it in my head. But
I
this
kind of love
album,
Zayok. It sounds like a Bionicle
I've
name.
been saying
that's
Zayok, yeah.
true. No, but this album for me feels more like what Lucy Bedrock was doing prior to
Our music.
prior to Our
Yeah.
Music, and kind of that more dreamy, ethereal R&B inspired way. And so I would 100% recommend anyone who didn't like Our Music as much as the as Lucy Bedrock's prior stuff to check
Definitely.
this out, no question.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would be
I
happy to see this move to the short list. I really enjoyed this.
Okay.
definitely. I know we're trying not to spend too long on here, but there's another record that this actually reminded me a lot of in terms of the approach to vocals was the William Crookes record from a few years ago that I know Harry, you also really enjoyed,
Yeah,
in
yeah,
terms
yeah.
of the really sort of eclectic approach to vocoders and different vocal processing to convey different emotions and different sort of styles and feelings. I I think it's just such a dynamic way to approach vocals in a record like this, which is so uh, sort of dense in terms of the amount of sounds that are going on. Yeah, I thought this was so creative, and I've really come to love this thing.
All right, it's moving on. Let's go from there.
Mm.
Okay, next up is Willie Carlisle's Winged Victory. This wasn't
Yeah.
even on the shortlist. I just wanna add. When I looked at the long list of like 40 albums, this was not on there.
I wonder how
And
this ended up on here.
I know I was like, there's no
Okay.
way we can't talk about this. This has to go
Yeah.
on
Okay,
there.
true.
I
Yeah.
know Bound is obviously a Willie Carlisle Giga fan, but what I will say about this album briefly is that I think it has the best writing of any album this year. Which
fair.
makes sense. It's a country album, but like I hear, I'm listening to more country these days, and a lot of it is bad. So
Yeah.
I think the writing on this is so good, and it's
Mm.
like one of the artists I'm most excited to see perform live right now, which I will be in like 2 months. So.
Yeah. I really enjoyed this. What I will say is I compare it to Critterland from last year, the year, well, I guess 2024, so 2 years ago now. I think I don't quite like this as much as Critterland, but from a sonic perspective, particularly. But the writing is fabulous on this thing, as always from Willie Carlisle. I mean, he's one of the most talented lyricists around right now, I would say, in any genre, never mind country. So yeah, no, I mean, I I'm not sure I'd put this on the shortlist, mainly just because I think I do prefer Critterland quite a bit more. And I think that's a more fully realized record. But I do think this thing is fantastic, and I really enjoy Willie's music.
I think I
That's
agree with that as a critique.
yeah, that's fair. For me it's like pretty even which one I like. Like they're pretty much on the same
Yeah.
level for very different reasons, cuz Critterland is such an ambitious album. It's doing a lot and doing all of it very very well. This album is a lot more like specific in its ambitions. It's very much like stripping back all of those kind of high-minded sounds of Critterland, and instead it's a lot more of a traditionalist country album that's paying homage a lot more to
Mm,
classic sounds and ways of songwriting that the for all of its ambitions, Critterland couldn't reasonably tap into
yeah.
because of what it needed to be. So that's where it is for me. I would be happy to see it on the short list, but I can't imagine it making the final list, so I would be fine to just to just cut it.
Yeah, I did really like it, but I just think in the grand scheme of things, it's
Okay.
probably not going to make it. Um, I think it's definitely true in the sense of this is more. I think from a perspective of someone who doesn't have a ton of knowledge about country music, I think it makes a lot of sense that Critterland is the one that I like more.
Yeah.
uh, this is a lot more steeped in the tradition of specific sounds from different periods of country music.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's going for something very particular that maybe I'm not quite appreciating as much as something like the more ambitious sounds of something like Critterland. But as I say, it's still a really, really fantastic record. And I think this is one that if you are more familiar and more sort of tuned into country music, you will get a lot more out of. Yeah, I mean, that's my perspective, I think.
I think
Yeah.
that's fine. I'm
Yeah.
happy with Big Butt Billy to make a to get a shout out, and we can go from there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, it's off the list. Next up, we're going to talk about Editrix, the Big E. This is a
Okay,
this is an Evan discovery.
this was one of my picks actually. So Editrix is a band that I'd vaguely heard of prior to this year, but I hadn't really checked out. I knew of their second record, which is just utterly bizarre. Having listened to it in uh, since then, which was sort of applying a lot of the techniques involved in sort of black metal from like a guitar perspective and applying them to sort of math rock, noise rock. Really, really interesting experiment of a record. And going back to it, it's good, but it doesn't quite come together into a cohesive sound. This one, the Big E, I think really, really solidifies Editrix as one of the most, I would say, ambitious and unique bands in rock music at the moment. From a compositional, sonic, and just stylistic standpoint, there's no one really doing quite what they're doing. And as I say, from the perspective of just rock and guitar music, I don't think there's anyone else really, uh, I think, sort of breaking down the styles and rearranging them in an interesting way as much as them, other than maybe like Horse Lords is the other band that I sort of go to for that kind of thing. Yeah, really, really fascinating deconstruction of math and noise rock. Uh, Interesting and particularly technical approaches on this record. I think it's one that I've gotten more out of as I've listened to it more, but was also really immediate for me on first listen. I don't know how you guys felt about this. I don't know if we talked about this on the
We did,
podcast.
yeah, we
We
definitely
did, yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a shout out because it
Mm,
definitely wasn't a main one.
yeah,
I didn't. This is one of the couple that I didn't manage to get to because I remember we had
that's
like a
okay.
list of
Yeah,
like we had a list of like the main ones that were probably making short list, and then like a second list of stuff that we wanted to shout out. And so this was one that I didn't end up having time to get to.
that's okay. I mean, to be honest, again, this was one that I more just wanted to shout out as a really unique record that I think if you are into this sort of style of music
mhm.
and you have missed it, then you really, really need to check this out. As sort of a general album of the year pick, maybe it's not in the top 10, but it's one of my favorite, definitely rock records of the year. Um, Particularly, again, I mean, I mention this record all the time, but if you enjoyed the uh, "Why Is My Arm Not a Lilac Tree" that we're
Yeah,
always
that's
recommending,
exactly where I was gonna go.
it's yeah, it's quite similar to that in terms of the approach to math and noise rock, which is again a sound that I mean, putting this record in with that, I don't know why I'm not hearing more sort of bands take this kind of direction in those genres because I think
Mhm.
there's so much space there to innovate.
Yeah, this is like Scaruthi core stuff from the 2000s that everyone was getting
Mm.
into.
Yeah.
This album's great. I think unlike Lilac Tree, this one I still think it's excellent, but like when I listened to Lilac Tree, I thought it was excellent, and then it became one of my favorites. And this one,
Yeah.
I thought it was excellent, and I was like, it's great,
Yeah.
it's great.
That's very true.
It's
That's
not one
very,
of my
very
favorite
true.
albums. So yeah, I'm glad it's getting some shout out. Art punk is
Yeah.
kind of hot these days, so
Yeah.
it's
Huge,
good to
huge
tell
shout out
people onto
to
it.
I think the track the Jackhammer in particular. Um,
Mhm.
Again, if you're into this sort of art punk, uh, almost like pretentiousy punk rock music, this is an essential.
Yeah, music for
But
people who like Squid, I would say.
yes, definitely. It's a bit skronky, it's a bit off-putting, but still within those very.
Mm,
It still feels very much within the rock music canon.
yeah.
You know.
Harry, did you take
Look,
Squid off the list? Because I feel
well,
like it
it
was
may
on
have
there at
fallen
one
off at
point.
some point.
I don't see Squid on this. Yeah,
It doesn't appear. Do you want to just quickly talk about Squid?
Can we move? Is it okay for me to move Editrix down to the
yeah.
down to the
that's
Hell
fine.
Zone? Okay.
Squid's pretty good. I
Editrix
think
Yeah.
it
goes
fell
to
off the
hell.
list. We all like that Squid album.
I thought it was
Yeah.
like maybe their best, and I was really surprised to see that not a single person agreed with me. Like it
Do
seems
you know
like
what?
no one.
No,
Bound.
that album is
I
really
am
good.
totally with you. I even with more listens, I feel even more sort of I guess I feel even more confirmed in my belief that actually, yeah, this is my favorite Squid record, and yeah, I understand why people like some of the other records more, and I'm not sure it has kind of almost like the star power of a record to really go onto the sort of top 10 or whatever. But I think in terms of making a record that made me really think and was very, very interesting, I think this is by far the most um, I've got out of a Squid record in terms of the sort of general experience of it.
This to me felt like the opposite of selling out for a
Yes.
band. For a
Yes.
band
And that's
that
why I
was
loved it.
Yeah.
they were so perfectly primed to sell out and make some money, and they were like, "No, we're gonna make this weirdo album." That is like
Yeah.
a bit unsettling, and people didn't like as much. But no, I think it is really really good.
And
They've
I
absolutely still got it.
yeah, and the more I spent with it, the more those choices felt deliberate, right? There is definitely, there's something to be said. They could have made a record like this thinking that, oh, this is the new sound. This is what's going to really blow us up. But again, it's so clear from even the lyrics and just the entire vibe of this record that it is almost displaying a bit of contempt for its audience, and I think that that's a hugely brave move for a band that's in the position that they were. And I think it's one that, from an artistic standpoint, from my perspective, it really paid off. Um, whether that's the best choice for them in the long run as a band, I'm not sure.
We'll see.
But they've earned my respect even more than they already had,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Hopefully they'll release something again very soon. Okay, from one skronky album to another, let's talk about Ramley's Hypervigilance.
Oh, so this was one that I didn't
Let's go.
think was going to make the list, but we are talking about it now anyway, which I am very happy about because this was
album is so evil.
this was a record that I kind of really took me by surprise. So I'd listened to some of the more recent Ramler stuff, the Great Unlearning in particular, and I liked the ambition of that record, but it just didn't come together for me. This record sort of takes that ambition, doubles it, and pulls it off. I mean, I joked this a couple times before, but this is in a year where Swans released their last record. This is the best Swans record of the year.
Yeah.
In terms of that approach to sort of a very noisy, very sort of scronkly post rock, but it sort of brings in the industrial roots of the project in a way that I think is very satisfying. I think the longer tracks progress really, really well. Yeah, this is one that has been in my rotation all year, and is again I think one of the most ambitious rock records of the year, and one that I think pulled off really, really well. One that I was not expecting another great record from Ramland discography, and I definitely wasn't expecting a great sort of like post-rock industrial opus from them, but that's what we've got, and I'm as I say, I'm really, really happy that this record turned out the way it did, because it is honestly arguably one of the best that they've released, including their really influential 80s stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought this was really fantastic. I was particularly a big fan of just how much they go into kind of a psychedelic jam bandy direction with their post rock. Like there's a lot more.
It's
like,
not crescendo-y.
Yeah, there's like licks and like stuff like that. Like it's very. It's an evil record, like you said, Harry, but it's like it's fun. Like there's a lot of fun to be had in it.
It is a fun record to listen to in a way that it feels like it just shouldn't be. And it really brings you into the sort of world that it's creating. I think at points some of the lyrics are a bit, I don't know, but like, you know, I mean, the dude's old, right? You know, it's a bit boomery at times, but that's whatever.
It happens.
It happens when you're old. But generally, I think to put out a record like this, of this ambition, this late in your career, being known for such a, maybe not such a different style, but something, a style that requires a very different approach. I'm kind of blown away by this, how good this thing is. In general, I'm not sure it'll make the final shortlist, but I'd like to put it on there now just to see, maybe.
I would be happy to put it on the short list. Again, I'm not like convinced it's gonna make it, but
yeah,
it exists in a very unique space.
Yeah.
There's nothing else on this. Like we don't have any noise albums on here. Maybe give or take. So like, I think it exists in a very unique space.
I mean,
like,
to be fair, there is
on the list that really sounds like this.
There is, I guess, 2 noise records on here, and one that I did really, really love. I guess.
Well, we'll talk about in a bit, I guess.
Yeah, but we'll get to those when we get to those.
Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to keep this around for now.
Let's do it.
Cool. Yeah. As I say, I'm not sure it'll make the final cut, but I think it's one that I would really want to highlight as being sort of above and beyond.
Okay, next up is going to be Keiho Matsui, Ultimate Devotion Plus, an album that Evan didn't listen to.
I did not listen to because I thought I thought we were doing one per artist, and I thought we were talking about Absolver.
We are also talking about Absolver. So
yes, so we are actually talking about both. I did listen to this when it came out, but I didn't give it a re-listen. My feelings were that it was good, but I'll let you two sort of discuss it more.
Yeah,
I don't. My second favorite of the two. I think Bound likes it more than me.
Yeah, this is my favorite. This is I don't have a lot of like deep thoughts on it or anything. It's just like it's a sound that feels made for me. Like it's very, it's that kind of indie folktronica sound, like kind of Postal Service and Juana Molina and that kind of thing. And I just like completely adored it. There's not a lot for me to like say about it because it's very straightforwardly what it is. But it is one of the best what it is I've heard. So yeah, I would not be offended to lose it from the list, but I wanted to shout it out.
Yeah, that's
fair. Yeah, definitely.
If we're talking about artists of the year, I think Keiho Matsui would probably be in my top 5.
Yeah, definitely up there.
However, if we're talking about albums of the year, and I got to put this above like 5 other albums or 10, like it's a little bit more difficult for me, and I don't think we're as aligned on any of these. That being said, of the 5 projects I listened to, including the EPs, I think the other one is my favorite. I think this is my second favorite. I think they're just so good. But yeah, I think maybe it suffers from just that there being too much good content. I'm happy to drop this for now with a nice shout out.
That's fine with me. I will drop it down.
It's easy to do when no one wants to die on the hill. We can just keep on moving.
There will be hills to die on later.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be.
Speaking of a hill,
oh boy,
we are talking about Stratford Rise's self-titled EP, Stratford Rise. I
Okay.
love this album. I love this album so much. I can't tell you. I don't know if it makes the list because it's too short. But
Yes.
for an album, it's the best short album of the year, in my opinion. It's the best. It's the best 4 song album of the year. It's just unbelievable how much energy there is on this.
Yeah, I think also particularly it is a record that is, I mean, it's 4 tracks, and I think particularly the opener Gun Show is so good that it almost kind of overshadows the rest of it for me.
Mhm.
I don't know how much you guys agree with that, but as sort of in terms of EPs of the year, I definitely have it up there. I think there's another record on here that is technically an EP that I would probably have above this.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. If we're talking about the same one, then sure.
Yeah, I think I
I
know
can.
Yeah,
which one.
I think we all know which one we're talking about.
Mhm.
But definitely like top 5, top 10 EPs of the year, particularly the track "Gun Show," which I think is one of the best, sort of, I guess, post Windmill like singles generally.
Yeah.
I think in terms of that kind of scene. Um, yeah, this record for me was more like a stand up and take attention. This band is going to do big things, rather
Yeah.
than an album of the year contender, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
my only
I think that's fair.
like hesitation with putting this even on the short list is I was kind of spoiled because I had seen like videos of them performing these songs live before the EP came out,
Right.
and they're like, if you think this is high energy, like it's not even close. Like like I was
Mhm.
almost disappointed by this EP because of how insane the live performances are.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and as I say, I think this is one that I'm really happy to shout out because I think it really marks Stratford Rise as a band that we definitely need to be looking out for.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's quite album of the year level.
I'm completely fine with that. But yeah, I just I gotta
Sorry,
got
Harry.
gotta.
I know you
No,
really
no, no.
really love this one.
You know what? If they were my EP of the year, I'd be fighting for it. But I don't. It's not. It may be my second favorite EP of the year. So
Yeah,
I'm
Fair
happy to
enough.
I'm
chop it
sorry.
down
I'm
from
sorry.
there.
There's an EP on here that's just incredible.
Okay, let's. Oh, yeah. Actually, no. We. You know what? Interestingly enough, we're talking about different albums. I know
Oh,
what you're
Oh,
talking about. It's not what
oh
I'm
no,
talking
I know
about.
what you're
So
talking about now that
we'll
now that you've
we'll
said
get there.
that.
We'll get
oh
there.
yeah. Wait, there are actually 2 more EPs on here. Okay, interesting.
Okay, next up is an album that I'm very interested to throw on there, which is the DJ Haram album, Beside Myself. This, I think, is maybe the greatest victim of bad advertising I've seen all year,
Totally.
in
Yeah.
that this is marketing itself. Not, I don't think it's the album's fault. It's culture's fault.
Hmm.
But this looks like it's going to be a fun R&B pop album, right?
Yeah.
It's got a woman prominently on the front cover of the album, and it's like kind of
It's
fun. And then you
colorful. It's
listen
got
to it,
like
and
a
you're like,
fun
"What the
logo
fuck
to
am I
it.
listening to?" This album is insane.
Yeah.
I think obviously I've heard some of DJ Haram's stuff before this because of the collaboration with Backwards, but yeah, I just was blown away by this. It's such a weird project, and I don't know. It feels almost sexist to me that this wasn't this wasn't received better. But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
no, I think you're totally right. I think a lot of people came into this record, particularly with the affiliation with Backwards, expecting either either as you say from the aesthetics, like a poppy fun record, or from the sort of Backwards approach, expecting something like really sort of lyrical and conceptual. This is not that. This is a absolutely bizarre blend of post-industrial hip hop textures with
Yeah, it's like
really wide-ranging
basically epic
influence.
collage, right?
And yeah, I think her sample use across this thing is pretty impeccable. The some of the sounds that she sort of chooses to uh channel, and in the context that she sort of reappropriates them in, is something that I at times I'm like, how did you even come up with this? Yeah,
Mhm.
from in terms of just the pure sonics of a record, this is one of the most interesting things released last year. I think as a full like 42-minute album experience, it's a little disjointed, but like I don't know, just from a song to song perspective, and from a the idea of what is actually going on here and how many influences are going into it. I think it's a really, really commendable record that deserved so much more attention and so much more praise than it did. Yeah, I'm not sure where I stand on it, whether it makes a shortlist or not, but I think, as you say, it's a really, really great record that was kind of a victim of how people were coming into it expecting something. Yeah, I don't know.
Just in terms of being underrated, this is a 3.2 on Radio Music right now.
Yeah, that's ludicrous.
That's absolutely outrageous.
Yeah, this is one I didn't get to the whole thing, but I did check out. And it's, as you guys say, it's just nuts. Very, very cool. I would not have qualms with putting it on the short list. I just haven't heard the whole thing, so
that's fair. I'm happy to give it its juice and leave it there, but because I know how many amazing records
we've
got
to
come.
Yeah, I'm
been getting
I'm
a
not
lot
sure
of
it will
the...
make the final shortlist again. Like, I'm not confident about that, so maybe not. But again, it's a record that I'm happy we've highlighted because it deserved so much more than it got this year, I think.
Yeah, the randomizer really is giving us some of the like small hitters early.
Yeah,
I can tell we're like ramping up for something scary.
Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen the last sort of 10 or so. Right, what's the wheel? What's the wheel deciding?
Okay. I gotta go to bat for a record now. So the next up is gonna be Fleshwater's album 2000 In Search of the Endless Sky. My case for this album is that I think a lot of people lost their minds over the Deftones album that came out this year.
Yeah.
As a great return to form for a great alternative metal band. Like Ohms was not that well received. It's realistically Deftones' best album since Koi no Yokan. And they released it in a year that had a better alternative metal album. I think this Fleshwater album has better riffs. I think it's more fun. I think the production is better. I think it's more interesting. I think the songwriting is better. I think it's just generally better all around. And I know not everyone's agreeing. I could see there's something about band's expression that's scaring me right now.
No,
so that's my case. I think it's really good.
I thought this album was really good. I did like the Deftones one more, but I thought this album was really great, and I'm always someone who's very pro accessible metal that is also good. Like we need entry points like this.
That is so true, and I think something that's really missed from the conversation.
Yeah, like that was why I loved last year's Blood Incantation album so much, because it was such a good entry point to more extreme sounds. And this is even more accessible than that, obviously. But I think this is a really good kind of foot in the door for people who are more into the kind of online TikTok-y like genres like shoegaze and stuff like that. Like the kind of the sounds that are big in Zoomer culture right now. I think Fleshwater is a good gateway from one place to another.
Well, this is the thing. Like there's almost like a temptation to compare Fleshwater, particularly as they came out of being Vane before this and being sort of, I guess, mathcore hardcore darlings within that sort of scene, to then sort of go in a more accessible direction. There's almost like a sort of tendency to want to compare them to those kind of records, and really, like, it's you're not going to get the Spirit Box kids listening to Vane, but you're going to get them listening to this, and this is a hell of a lot better than what they would be listening to otherwise, right?
Yeah.
I did so I didn't get a chance to re-listen to this. I did listen to it came out. My feelings were that I didn't like it as much as the first one, but it was still really good. I definitely
that was
agree
pretty
with you
much my feeling as well.
Yeah, I do agree with you that I preferred it to the Deftones record this year, but I haven't gone back to it anywhere near as much as I did the first one when it came out. In fact, I've not to be the guy, but I have probably listened to more Vane this year than this record.
I also have. Yeah.
I'm happy to do an obligatory I miss Vane, and like we could just
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I feel so bad for the band because it comes up in almost every conversation, but like, I mean, come on. Like you listen to Doom Tech or something, and you're like, "This is
they were on some shit."
Yeah,
unbelievable. But
so are we good to...
I really like this record, but maybe I don't know. I'm not sure for the shortlist.
I don't think it's shortlist.
That's fine with me. There's more to come. Okay, I've got one that is a stronger shortlist potential.
Okay,
I've got Ethel Cain's Perverts.
okay,
it's an EP.
Oh, this isn't even the one I thought either.
This was not the one I was talking about.
Is this not the one you were talking about?
No,
this is not the one I was talking about.
I think me and Evan were talking about the same one.
Me and Baum were on the same wavelength. Me and Baum.
You're just gonna have to tell me now.
No, we'll tell you when we get there.
Okay,
we'll get to it.
We'll see when we get there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked very in depth about this record when it came out,
but I wasn't
if I remember
there.
correctly. You were not.
Yeah.
No, that was the episode I wasn't there for.
Actually, yeah, Bound, you talk about this to start with because we haven't heard your thoughts.
Well, so for me, this album, like I was super into it when it came out, and then it kind of like fell away for me, and then Willoughby Tucker came out later the same year, and I was like, this is what I want. This is amazing. And then I re-listened to Perverts and I was like, oh, these are both perfect is basically where I landed. And I think Perverts is an album that I might have more to say about, but that I don't necessarily like more. Like I think for me, Willoughby Tucker is the one I prefer. That's one of my favorite albums maybe ever. But this one is perfect to an almost equal measure, I would say. I think it's just really interesting how she uses all of these drone and dark ambient and like ethereal wave sounds to basically just say fuck you to her audience. And then not only is she doing it sonically, but like all of these songs are about jerking it, you know? Like that's what it is, like. And it's amazing, and it carries the same emotional depth and weight that you would expect from her, just in a different context than what might have been expected. And so I just think using that kind of like all of her music is about kind of religious guilt. And
yeah, totally.
And this is the most guilty sounding thing she's ever released. And I don't know. I wrote what I think was pretty well about it in my album of the year video, but I don't remember exactly what I said at this point. But no, I think this is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I really love this thing as well. I mean, we mentioned we do, of course, have two Ethel Cain records on this thing. If I'm going to go to bat for one, probably unsurprisingly, it would be this one. I think it's such a daring artistic statement. I mean, we mentioned about the Squid record as well. This is probably the album that best showed contempt for the audience of the from that perspective. No, I thought this thing was an absolutely phenomenal sort of entry into the sort of ambient drone canon from an artist who is known for doing stuff that is not that. Which, so from a first perspective, I think that's really, really commendable. But also, again, the songwriting on this thing is excellent, and just the sonic textures, and again, just the way this record sounds is so cohesive and so like achingly beautiful in a way that, again, it makes some of the surrounding context even I don't know, it makes it even more interesting. I really, really love this thing. I would like to see it on the shortlist. As I say, I know, Band,
I think it's a lock for shortlist either way.
But yeah, it's got to be. For me, this has got to be on the shortlist.
Yeah, no question.
I would agree. Definitely shortlist. This is a very unique album. So well executed. It feels like one of the most important albums of the year. As
definitely.
Definitely. Culturally, for underground music, I think it's very, very important.
Yeah. All right. Let me just there.
All right, I'm spinning the wheel. I got so many things open. We barely missed out on another EP. Instead, we're going to Jane Remover, Revenge Seekers.
All right.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, I can start with this in the sense that I mean I've had a bit of a journey with Jane Remover's music, even sort of actually within the context of the podcast as well. Harry, I can't remember. I think it was the second episode. You wanted to talk about Frailty, and I hated it. If I remember
That
correctly.
sound about right, yeah.
I did not like that record at all. And over time, I think I have gotten a bit more appreciation for what Jane Remover does, and the yeah, I guess the aesthetic and energy. But this, for me, this was the record that made me go, "Oh, I actually really like this artist." Um, I think that there's a lot of things that put this record above some of the previous efforts from them, but I think just it's so just bombastic and boisterous that it's hard to resist that from just the first moments of the record. I think the sort of digicore fusion of sort of hip hop, hyper pop, and electronic music is at its most realized here, and I think that particularly in the production of this record, there is a reverence shown for all of the sort of disparate parts of sort of popular and underground music that they're drawing from uh, on this album in a way that I just don't think comes together in almost any other sort of digicore project that I've heard. Yeah, as I say, I enjoyed it on first listen, but I didn't get too much out of it. The more time I've spent with this thing, the more I've sort of understood. Okay, I actually get why people are so in on this artist now. And I think I referenced this earlier, but I mean, Jane Remover, pretty much there's been so many copycats of her style, of her approach over the past year or so in particular. I think even before this year, there were quite a few underground artists very much trying to get on that same wave. And the fact that I've listened to so many artists that are trying to do this thing, and in retrospect, I've actually enjoyed this record more because they just can't do this. They can't do this on this level. Yeah, I mean, everyone's trying to jack her swag, but it's not that easy. This is a great record.
I would be very happy to shortlist. I really like this album. My only concern is, and I think Bound's going to agree with me here, I think Lucy Bedrock does the digicore sound better.
In fact, there are two artists
kind of agree.
Released better like digicore rage records this year. One of them I didn't even put on the list because I don't think you guys liked it that much. The Ordeus Surgery mixtape. I also thought.
Oh yeah, I did like that. I think I like the Jane Remover record more.
Yeah, that's fair.
I probably do agree with you with the other album that you're talking about, but yeah. I think for me this is a record that, again, being in this kind of position where you're sort of a very influential now underground artist making that sort of, this feels like the big statement album to me from Jane Remover, and it is sort of really codified her as almost to me the leader of this kind of sound.
I think that's fair.
And again, I think the fact that I have heard so many people try and do this and just not even approach the level that she is on, and also particularly I think catching her live at Outbreak in London this year also added to that. I think I seeing there's so much energy on this record, right? And seeing those songs in a live setting and getting the energy of the crowd and from them in real time, I thought just really did to my feelings. What I will say is I think that I don't know if this is maybe a bit controversial. I think some of the tracks in the middle aren't as good. I think it starts and ends really, really strongly.
That's where I'm at too.
And that's why I think I would just have another record above it.
I quite like JR, to be honest.
That's the closing track.
Yeah.
That's the closing track. I love that song.
Yeah, the middle is what we're saying.
Oh, sorry, you're saying the other way around. Oh,
no. No,
Oh yeah, I
I
was the other
loved
way
the
because
opening like 5 tracks and the closing like 3 or 4 tracks.
interesting. Okay, because Dancing with Your Eyes Closed was my favorite track live. I think that one comes across really well.
Is that one in the
It's
middle? Because that
interesting.
is one of the best
I
ones.
I think that's the one in the middle that I like the most. I wasn't too big on like Dream Flash or Turn Up and Die
Okay,
and
that's
Angels
fair.
in Camo to some extent. I think particularly the opening 3 or 4 and the closing 3 tracks are phenomenal. But again, if we're comparing it to the Lucy Bedrock record that we'll talk about later, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll put it on the shortlist now and we can maybe fight for that when we get to it. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I think
Mhm.
it's like for me, it's maybe the weakest of the short list, but I would be fine to put it there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
probably with you on that. To be honest, I think it was more for me. I think the fact that this is the record that has suddenly sold me on them as an artist that
Well,
has made
that's the
me
other thing
sort of
is like,
feel really. Because I know both of you were a lot more on like the Jane Remover train prior to
yeah,
this
I was
record
a
than I
super
was.
early adopter.
Yeah. So I think for me, this record has a lot more resonance because it was the album that made me really start to enjoy their music.
Yeah.
Um,
mhm.
yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it won't end up on the shortlist at the end, but we'll put it on there for now, I guess.
I'm very happy to be on it there for now. I got some other
Okay.
thoughts on we'll get to in a bit, but
Okay,
um,
sure.
something very funny happened. I spun the wheel and it picked the Ethel Cain album. I was like, what did we talk about? And I was like, oh, we talked about Ethel Cain recently. Let me spin it again, and it picked Ethel Cain again. There's 40 albums on the list, by the way.
All
And
right.
then
I
I
mean,
was like, no, I don't
I
want
mean,
to. I spun it again. It genuinely picked the album 3 times in a row. It's like
We
one
have no
in
choice.
50,000 chance of that happening or something
Yeah.
disgusting.
God, they
Horrible.
know.
Okay, let's go in a different direction. Let's talk about Lucy Liu. I've only got the short name of the album title. I've just written every video. What's the full name of
Without her
the?
face, without your name, something without your name.
Yes,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the
yeah.
one.
So this was a this is a record that was out on Orange Milk Records, and I think uh, again that they've had few really good releases this year. This is um, maybe the one that stood out to me the most. It's a really sort of emotional uh, piece of ambient art pop that has a fantastic sound palette to it. I think the vocals and lyrics are just absolutely heartbreaking and really just emotionally resonant. It's one that I think as the year has gone on, I've not gone back to a ton because I think it is. I think there's some extent to what this record, despite its sort of ambient nature, is quite intense emotionally. But it's a record that I just wanted to shout out as one of the most uh I guess yeah, one of the records that I got the most out of sort of emotionally over the course of the year, I would say.
Yeah, I thought this record was really great while I was listening to it. Like it was like
Yeah,
beautiful.
I
I think
yeah.
I didn't really think about it ever again.
Yeah, no, do you know what? I am kind of with you as well. It has a really nice sound palette. It's not there aren't many particular musical moments that are memorable. I think the memorable moments for me are in the lyrics and in the vocal delivery. Despite the
Mm,
fact that it is really nice to listen to, I think you're right. The individual tracks maybe aren't quite memorable enough, and it's only sort of 28 minutes, so it doesn't sort of stick around for particularly long. So in that sense, I do agree that probably I wouldn't put this on the shortlist, but again, it's one that I really wanted to shout out as
I do think she's on the verge of a breakthrough in terms of
yeah,
I agree.
in terms of recognition. Like, as in,
yeah,
like, I think the
totally.
sound is incredible.
Yeah, the sound is
But yeah,
incredible,
there's
and I just hope we can get more fulfilling
There,
songwriting. I think.
yeah,
going into like
yeah,
cult classic kind
totally.
of status.
I think if she is able to more fully develop the more sort of, as you say, songwriting elements on a record like this, again, maybe buff it out like 10 minutes more, uh, then that could be one of the absolute best records of whatever year it releases. Again, this is more of a record that signaled to me that this is an artist that I really need to be looking out for. rather than an album of the year contender, but again, one that I thought was really worth talking about.
Okay, next up is going to be Shipsket Initiatrix. I believe this was, I think I might have put this on here, but I think it was put on to me originally by Evan. Or was this a Octavia
I don't
one?
think this was a me pick. I think this was an I think Octavia put this in.
It's got Evan written all over it, but I think it was probably Octavia.
It does have me written all over it because this is a really fantastic record of sort of collagey, bizarre textural industrial club music. Yeah, I've talked about a lot of records like this on here. It's very sort of reminiscent of something like S2ATF, who I think we've talked about a few times on the podcast before. I think this is a really, really interesting approach. Again, did it stick with me as much as some of the other records in this style? Maybe not. But I thought it was a really, really fantastic listen. And again, just really interesting sonics on this thing.
I felt the same way. I think I wanted to talk about it particularly because of just how outlandish the sound design is.
Yeah, this is.
But you know, compared to other albums that are also doing ridiculous things with sound, and then making more sort of fledged albums, I think there's probably a little bit to be desired here.
For me, or sorry.
I was just about to say this record almost feels a bit like a tech demo to me, in a way. Like I really, really enjoyed what they're doing, but there's a more cohesive version of this record that I think I would enjoy a lot more.
Yeah, for me in this sound this year, I found I preferred the Aya record Hexed, which I think fits a similar
that's fair
niche,
enough.
and I think that was a more realized project. I didn't finish this album. I didn't have time, but I did check it out.
I would say I probably do prefer.
Yeah,
I probably do prefer the sound design on this record to the Aya record, but the Aya record, I think, as you say, is so much more fleshed out. Yeah, I'm not sure I put this on the short list. I don't know how you guys feel, but
I'm happy to drop it. I just wanted to
no,
talk about it.
I thought it was a really fascinating release and one that again marks it out as an artist to really be looking out for. But yeah, no, I don't think it's quite on the short list for me.
Okay, next up we're going to talk about Anno Solar.
Okay,
Una Mancha de Sol.
So this was a pick from me, and one thing that I guess both of you, I haven't sort of mentioned it, but usually I try and seek as many bullshit metal releases on to our album of the year list as possible. This is not the case this year. In fact, this is the only real like proper metal record on here. I would, and even this isn't really a. I mean, there's
you've got Neptunian. You got Neptunian as well.
Okay, yeah, I suppose, but again, that's a completely different beast,
Yeah.
So in terms of like metal album of the year, if I had to pick one, I think it is this one for me. And this is a record that I have seen very, very little about at all, to be honest. And I'm not really sure why. I from a sort of compositional perspective, it's down as 6 tracks, but really this is a single live take composition that is I would describe it as noise rock, doom, sludge. It's just a complete nightmare of feedback. And again, it did kind of remind me actually of the Boris record Feedbacker, but like really, really angry and with much more sort of active drumming to it. In terms of like the most cacophonous records of the year, this is definitely up there. I've gone back to it a lot, particularly towards the end. It gets just sickeningly heavy at points. Really, really great sound, really, really great structure. I just, as I say, this is a band that I'd completely never heard of before this record, and one that I'm completely sold on from hearing it. Yeah, I absolutely adored this thing, and I think it's probably my metal album of the year. But generally, this has been, I would say personally, a fairly weak record year for sort of underground, really weird metal releases. So this is probably my favorite in that wheelhouse, but also I recognize that there wasn't too much competition in that respect for me. So I don't know how you guys felt about this, but I really loved it, but I totally understand if this wasn't either of your favorites.
I'm just searching for metal albums from 2025. What
It
is
was
this compared
pretty.
to?
The only two that made my top 50 were the Deftones and the Deaf Heaven. Like that, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
yeah.
a substantially weaker year than 2024 for metal for me.
If we are going to, I think the record that ran this closest for me in terms of metal albums of the year, again, not counting the Neptunian Maximalism because that's kind of its own thing, was probably the Curix Core.
Oh, that like avant-garde death metal, or
QRIXKUOR
no?
record. Yeah, it's avant-garde death metal. Yeah, that's probably the only other record that sort of I would put on a similar level to this one.
But I was mixing it up with the Bio Noise Generator album, which almost made
do you know
my
what?
list.
That record that would probably go in my top 5 metal records. That one was awesome.
Yeah, that one almost made my full list. Anyways, for this record, this Eno Solar record, I remember when you shouted it out on the on that episode of the podcast. I was like, "Oh, I already have this wish listed. I found this before you." But and so I was really excited to listen to it, and I did really enjoy it, but I found myself a little disappointed. I don't really know why. It just like didn't grab me the way I expected it to based on just like the genres and how you talked about it. And I haven't gone back to it. Maybe I was just not in the right mood or headspace, but I just like it didn't hit for me the way I was like fully on board expecting it to.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair enough. And as I say, I think it is a record that is quite, for how loud and abrasive it is weirdly patient, I think, as well. A lot of that cacophony really comes out in the final 2 tracks, particularly the closer, which is just absolutely batshit. And
yeah, the closer was fantastic.
I almost feel like this record would. I almost feel like I understand the sort of imperative to want to split this up into different tracks, but I almost feel like this would have worked more if they just released it as a single track record, because I think it to me at least, I think that is the way in which it was intended to be composed
I get
and
that.
listened to. Yeah, how did you feel about Harry? I guess.
I really like this album, and I'd be happy keeping it around. I was just looking at other albums that impressed me more this year in the metal space. I'm like, did I like it more than Sumac and More Mothers the film?
That's a record that probably should be on here.
I don't know. Did I like it? Did I like it more than the Primitive Man record? I love the Primitive Man record this year.
Oh, okay. Do you know what? Those are 2 records that I probably could have pushed for on here.
Yeah, those ones,
particularly the Primitive Man.
Do you want to pick your favorite of the 3, or if you want?
Should we just put the Primitive Man record on here? Do we want to do that?
Let's put the Primitive Man record on the list and let's shortlist it.
Yeah,
I think it's their best.
I'm fine with that, because to be honest,
love that album.
that was one that I thought I'd put on my shortlist, but obviously hadn't. I do really like this Anno Solar record, but I appreciate that again, it's a similar vibe to the Primitive Man album Observance, and I think that's an album that all of us probably really enjoyed, so I'm happy to have that on there. I mean, to talk more directly about Observance, it is arguably Primitive Man's best record. It's between that and Caustic for me, definitely.
I would agree.
I think it's their first record since that album that they've shown that huge amount of ambition to create something that is just completely towering and almost impenetrable in a way that just really gels with their their sound as one of, if not the heaviest bands around.
For a while I thought they'd lost the edge. I remember listening to Suffocating Hallucination and being like, oh, I guess their prime is over. Like, you know, they're just running the numbers. It's not that interesting anymore.
I think Immersion was a little underrated, but this was the like they're really back on form record for me. So I think, do you know what?
Should I just?
Having thought about it, should we just put that on there?
I was gonna say, should I
'Cause-
kill the Anno Solar record and put Primitive Man on the short list? Yeah, okay.
I
Yeah,
put
go for it,
Primitive
please.
Man on the short list, and then let's kill it.
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
I'm happy
Yeah.
that both metal records are you.
Yeah, I'm happy I got to talk about more metal albums. And I'm happy that we got to talk about the Anna Solar record because it did not get anywhere near enough attention. But
Yeah.
if we're talking best sort of really heavy metal release of the year, I think Between Us, Observance is probably the correct pick.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, I also want to. I don't think it goes on even the long list, but that Agriculture album is going on me a lot. I actually think it's got a lot of problems, but like I really like it.
I saw some very, I mean, they're a very sort of. They're a band that inspires a lot of debate. They're very controversial for whatever reason. I mean, to be honest, I didn't like their record before that really at all.
Mm-hmm.
I like the EP, the debut I didn't care for. The new one I think is really great. Yeah. As I say, there are some other obvious issues with it, but no, I think that was definitely overhated this year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Quick question: what happened with Ramla down here?
Ramla can get shortlisted, I think.
Yeah, it's just like stuck in a weird spot.
It's just hanging out. Ramla can be shortlisted. Right. That's okay.
I mean, it's in the shortlist column.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't know why it's all the way.
Later
oh, you know what it is? I think I just did that. I think I just dragged the whole row down, and it took Ramla with it. That was my bad.
Right, yeah, because it was in the same in the long list.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next up is going to be Giant Claws, Decadent Stress Chamber.
Okay, so now we've got a record that I'm really going to push for. So
I honestly don't think you even have to push. Like, I think I think we could move it to the short list and talk about it more later, if I'm being honest.
That sounds great.
Yeah, talk about it a little bit,
so,
obviously, but you don't have to sell it.
We talked about the DJ Galen record, which I think is one of the best dance records of the year. But if we're talking about something within that sphere of music, nothing comes close to this Giant Claw record. We've talked almost to death about Keith Rankin's music on here. I think largely due to me, I guess. I mean, we really liked Mirror Guide when that came out. I remember, but this might be my favorite, like, Giant Claw record, and even perhaps my favorite Keith Rankin record. This is an approach to pop music and electronic music that is just not. I can't compare it to anything else because nobody else is doing this. I guess we can talk about it in more depth later, but this is, to me, a completely revolutionary record and one that has to be on the shortlist, personally.
Yeah,
one of the I think this album is great.
One of the big things I remember is we didn't have this as like a main record because it came out right before we recorded, and there was just too much to process. Yeah. I still haven't finished processing it. Like I still have listened to it a bunch of times.
I don't think I have. I mean, to be honest, again, to compare it to another Keith Rankin record that I already mentioned today, actually, the Faith in Persona, that is, again, one of my favorite albums of all time. And a record that, again, I listened to that 20, 30 times before I felt like I even got my head around it perfectly, you know. And this is a far more dense record than that. I can't remember this. Keith tweeted, like, you know, he's like, oh yeah, that was it. This record, he was like, this has got to be the only album to have been reviewed by Anthony Fantano, Prog Archives, and the Super Mario Wiki. Which it says it all, really, in terms of the breadth of what he's hitting on this thing. Yeah, this is a visionary record to me, and I think there are a few albums that I think we maybe even haven't got to yet that are, to me, like, absolutely game changing on this list, and this is the first one I think we're talking about of those.
Yeah,
sounds good.
Okay,
I'm happy to keep it at that. Okay, next up is Nourished by Time, The Passionate Ones.
All right, this is going to be the one I push for. Where is it?
Oh, interesting.
There it is. I fucking love this album. I really like dropped the ball a couple of years ago, not listening to Erotic Probiotic 2 when that came out, I think 2023. I listened to it like the day this new Nourished by Time album came out. I went back and listened to that and was like, are you fucking joking? This is like so clearly like that would have been super high on my list that year. And then I almost messed up again because I wrote my entire like video and started editing it and then realized, wait, I forgot to put this album on it. But this is like just really fun, a little bit weird, but never like getting out of the realm of accessibility. Just like amazing bedroom pop kind of alternative R&B. I put it in a similar vein to that first Genesis Owusu record, a lot less kind of eclectic and all over the place, but the more R&B moments are very similar to that in a way that I haven't found a lot of other things that kind of tap into that same feeling. And yeah, this record is just so addictive. I've listened to it more than almost every other album on this list. There's a few albums that are like I've listened to them more than any albums ever. But this is like top 3 to 5 like most listened on this list for me. I would love to see it shortlisted, but I would not be surprised if it doesn't get there. But this is like one of my favorites of the year for sure.
Mm-hmm. I don't feel as passionately about this one, but I did really enjoy it. I think it'd be cool to shortlist it and get into it a little bit more later.
You guys are not the passionate ones.
I'm not.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you've seen my rating on this on Radio Music. I have enjoyed it more since then. It has grown on me, but still not to the extent that I really loved it.
What did you do? I'm not looking right now.
5 out of 10.
I, as you say, some of the more experimental aspects of the production I did really enjoy, but it felt like it was working against the songwriting at times, personally, and I just didn't get on with the vocal delivery. It felt so overwrought in a way that just didn't click with me. I think the actual songwriting was great, but it didn't come together for me. It didn't personally. This was the one that I knew I was going to get a bit slaughtered on, for my opinion. But I did give it a couple listens, and it didn't quite get there for me. There were a couple other records that on this list, and some that we've already talked about, that I had a similarly not super positive opinion going in, and they really grew on me. This one didn't quite do that.
I'm fine to kill it.
I'm okay.
It's not going to make the long list. It's not going to make the short list. It's definitely not going to make the top 10 with that.
I'm
with
really
that
sorry
energy.
because I know you really love this one. But I'm going. If I had to pick, this is probably my second least favorite record in the entire list.
Have we talked about your least favorite yet, or no?
No.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay.
Oh boy.
We have not.
All right, let's deal with that one appropriately.
Yeah, no. Even if you weren't so negative on it, I knew it was never going to make top 10. So
well, this was the thing. I wouldn't say negative, because I would say, on balance, I like this record. My feelings are the songwriting is so good that it doesn't frame it in a way that's satisfying for me, and I get frustrated listening to this album personally. I don't know. It doesn't come together. I understand why you really enjoyed it, and I understand why a lot of people got a lot out of it. Maybe it's just not for me, but yeah, I don't know. This was one that I just didn't get from this.
Devastating.
I'm sorry.
All right. Let's keep the momentum up. Let's go over to Neptunian Maximalism, Le Sacre du Soleil Vaincu.
Oh, so this is your least favorite? No.
yeah. This is my least favorite record. No. So I mean, we talked about Neptunian Maximalism a lot. This is a record that I remember when it came out and we reviewed, I was incredibly positive about. I think my feelings on it have tempered a little bit since then. I do still think it's absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed the record. I don't think it's quite on the level of something like Eons. having spent a bit more time with it. What I will say is there is a slightly different approach here. So obviously Neptunian maximalism broke out into the sort of experimental scene, making a really fascinating combination of sort of drone metal and avant-garde jazz and sort of other disparate influences in a way that I think was just absolutely captivating. And on this record, they took a slightly different direction, sort of almost replacing the jazz influences with influences from Hindustani and Indian classical music. Particularly, a lot of the tracks themselves are based around sort of existing ragas. I think I went into this in ridiculous depth when we actually talked about the record on the podcast, so I'm not going to do it now. But I think from a compositional standpoint, I think it's really, really interesting. I think this is a really, really great entry into the Neptunian maximalism discography, and one that I've got a lot out of. But overall, I'm not sure it's my favorite record from them. And I think the more I listen to it, the more I do kind of miss those jazz influences on their sound. So I think I'm a bit less confident on this one than I was when we first talked about it. So I wouldn't be like devastated to not see this make the shortlist. Obviously, Neptunian Maximalism are one of my favorite bands of all time. But this isn't a must on the shortlist for me, even though I really did love it.
Was this one of the ones that you talked about without me, or was this a shout out?
It might have been. This is exactly the sort of album that we would have put on the solo.
I think me and Harry talked about this.
Okay. Yeah, because I've been meaning to get to this all year and I never did.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It is pretty good, and as I say, it's different to the other Neptunian maximalism stuff.
Is it long like all their other stuff? Like what runtime are we talking?
98 minutes. 98 minutes. It's not as long.
Okay.
It's not 3 hours. I'd say it's still really worth listening to. And it is still one of my favorite albums of the year. But in terms of, again, I'm seeing albums on this long list that are like genuinely game changing, genuinely like felt inspired beyond other things that beyond sort of anything else. And this record maybe is on the tier below that for me. I think it's maybe top 10 of the year for me, top 15 at a stretch. But I understand if this isn't going to make the shortlist.
Yeah. I didn't listen, so it's up to you.
Yeah. Harry, what do you reckon? Should we leave it off?
I don't think it's shortlist level. I think it's excellent.
Yeah, okay.
I think we should check it out.
Again, always happy to talk about one of my absolute favorite bands of all time. But not quite on that level for the shortlist, in my opinion.
Okay. Next up, we've got Keiho Matsui, Absolver. I hardly know her. It's Absolver, Kill Me While My Eyes Are Closed. If the other one didn't make the list, I don't think this one is. I think this is the better of the two albums.
I agree.
Maybe by Rate Your Music rating standards, I think this is the best, the most underrated album of the year. This one is
totally. I couldn't believe that average for this thing.
People didn't like this.
But also, the thing that confused me is that the other records from this year have mostly around the sort of 3.5 area. So it's not just that, like, I don't know, that they didn't like KO as an artist in general. So I don't know what it was about this one that didn't connect, because I thought for me, this had a phenomenal sound palette.
It's the January 1st thing, where this was one of the first albums to hit the charts. So
right.
So people who weren't gonna like it listened to it.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know what? I didn't think about that. That's absolutely right. So yeah.
That's very interesting.
I think, was it not for that case, it probably would have a higher average. But also, I think the other records would have fewer listens. So
yeah.
I think in terms of all of the Keiho Matsui records from last year, this is the pick for me. It feels the most realized, but even then, still, I don't have a ton to talk about with it. It's a really, really nice record to listen to. Excellent sound palette. I like the compositions generally, but there's nothing too much for me to dig into, I would say. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like, again, an album that is really tailored towards my taste. I love avant folk. I love noisy avant folk albums, and this is just like beautifully sort of delicate as an album, I think.
Yeah,
I think
and
it's
as you say,
exactly the same thing for you, Harry, as Ultimate Devotion Plus is for me. Like, it's just a sound tailored for you, done really well. Like,
yeah,
Okay.
and
and if
I'm
mine doesn't get the
glad
list, yours doesn't either. So we're
as I
getting rid of
say,
it now.
I'm glad we talked about both
Yeah.
because I mean, we mentioned as them being arguably one of the artists of the year. Obviously, I mean there is one very big artist that I think really takes that crown by quite some distance that we'll talk about later. But in terms of if I'm thinking which artist um, really broke out in 2025 in a way that I thought was really notable. Keamatsu is right near the top of that list.
From avant folk to avant folk, yeah, we can take that one off. The next album is going to be Sirom's In the Wind of Night, Hard Fallen Incantations Whisper. I need this on the shortlist, please.
Yeah, I also need this on.
I don't think I need to fight for this one, but this album is just so unbelievable. It's
I I
so
don't know
grandiose
how
and just stunning.
I don't know how you feel generally, Harry. I know you're a huge fan of Shirom, just as a band. Having seen them play this material live earlier this year, and having gone back through all their discography obsessively after that show because it was absolutely incredible, I honestly have this as their best record at this point. I really do. I don't know. I know that's a big statement. I don't know how you'd feel about that.
I haven't
I
done the whole discography recently enough back to back to be like
yeah.
for sure, but I've got it. I've got 3 of their albums at a 10 and 2 of them at a 9, and so it's by numbers it's up there with me, you know, for the
Yeah,
absolute.
I mean, this is some of the most like I almost want to call. I mean, it's a very bland descriptor, but in terms of just generally magical records, this thing feels completely like from somewhere else. This is not from, and I think from the approach to um the the sort of instruments that they're using across this record. There's a sort of wider instrumental palette even than some of their previous records, and they're sort of bringing together disparate sort of sounds and ideas from across world music and colliding them into something that sounds like just bizarre fairy tale folk music in a way that is just so captivating. I think actually, despite the 74-minute runtime, I think this is actually my most listened to record of the year as well. So, like, if for a record over an hour to be my most listened to album of the year, that is something really, really special.
That's a lot.
Yeah, this has to be on there for me. It has to be on there.
Yeah.
We haven't let you in there, Ben. Do you have any?
I'm sorry, man.
No.
Yeah, I didn't let you speak.
I think this record's fantastic. I don't have nearly as much. Like, I listened to it a couple times before we talked about it. I really enjoyed it. I said what I wanted to say then. I like it a lot.
Yeah,
I am happy to put it on the short list.
All right,
and
now we're going to start to see the album that are going to show us why we were hesitant to put albums on the shortlist earlier.
I was about to say, the wheels really slow rolled us with this because there are still so many records I think on here that are instant locks.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Billy Wood's Gollywog.
Just put it on.
Yeah, we don't have to say anything. I'm putting it on the list.
Billy Wood.
Because what do you say about Billy Woods at this point? Generally, I think this record, it stands out in his discography in terms of being possibly the most sinister, and I think he takes a different approach on this thing that really pays off in general. I think this is always going to be on the shortlist. I almost want to more talk about it in sort of comparison to his other records and some of the other records on the shortlist when we discuss breaking it down. So I mean, are we just happy to put it on and move on for now?
Yeah, all I have to say is I made a 30-minute video about this album, and it is my favorite album of all time. So, like,
yeah, I
It will
mean,
inevitably be very, very high up the list.
yes, like
I will
if it
be
doesn't get top
I will be
3
shocked
at
if
least, I will be throwing hands.
yeah, I will be shocked if this is not in the 10. Yeah.
Okay, next up is Kelly Moran, Don't Trust Mirrors.
Okay, so this is an album I think I was pushing for the most. So
I am 100% pushing for this as well. I think this
okay,
is
so I actually saw Kelly Moran play at Cafe Otto on Thursday night, which was absolutely fabulous. This record for me, so I've been a big fan of Kelly's work since. I can't remember which came first, the first Myriad One Tricks Point Never show that she played, or the release of Ultraviolet. They were around the same time, I believe. Um, that record, Ultraviolet, I absolutely adored. It took a sort of approach to ambient piano-led music in using the extensive use of prepared piano and combining that with electronics. I thought was really, really fantastic. The record after that, Moves in the Field, didn't quite click with me in the same way. This one was, to me, Kelly back to her best, and I think is her best record to date. In terms of, it is so just the way that the tracks in here are composed, it it's a sort of flurry of motifs and that just phase in and out of sync in ways that create this perpetually shifting tapestry. And there's another record, I guess, that we're going to talk about later that also has a similar kind of approach to composition in that sense. And that is also one of my favorites of the year. In terms of the sonic profile, this is her, I would say, her most engaging record. Uh, it has some of the most memorable sort of, particularly just piano phrases of her career. For me, this was the step up from Ultraviolet that I'd been waiting for since 2018. Uh, Definitely her best record, one of my favorite piano-led records, honestly, ever. Um, this is alongside the Shiram record, I would say probably my second most listened album of the year, and it came out in October, so that says a lot.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
very
this
much in
was.
support of pushing this album forward. So.
Yeah, I listened to this
Yeah.
yesterday for the first time. Kelly Moran's an artist who I keep, like, every year or two I would, like, see one of her albums come out and I'd be like, I should check that out, and I never did. And that was gonna be the case this year unless you guys had put this on the list. So I
Yeah.
listened to it and it's really excellent. I just love piano driven post minimalism. Like, that's it is what I want
as
to
I
listen
say,
to.
and I think particularly artists that can focus on the timbre and texture of a piano rather than your sort of more standard piano players, that it can almost be a bit of a gimmick in a way. Kelly Moran has taken the prepared piano and made it her own instrument. And she almost optimizes her compositions for the timbral sort of resonance of the slightly strange approach to piano that she is using. And I think she's only continued to develop to make songs that work better within that context. Yeah, no, this was one of the best composed records of the year for me. One that I just adored.
Just makes me very jealous. At the start of the year, I had the choice of moving to Bristol or London. I had a big decision to make, and I chose Bristol. And when I see shows like that, it does make me regret it a little bit.
And I'm really, really sorry to inform you that she closed with a a cello duet with the opener of Raichi Sakamoto's Forbidden Colors.
Yeah, just rub it in. Yeah,
which is just one of the greatest songs of all time. So yeah, that was an unbelievable moment. Yeah. Oh, and she also did Avril 14th as well at the end as well.
Okay, yeah, nice.
So I'm just continuing to rub it in. Sorry, let's move on before Harry gets too mad at me.
Let's move on to an artist I did see live last year, which is The Next, performing Disquiet.
Oh, so I'm seeing them later this year. Yeah, move it. So I mean, I just mentioned about in terms of minimalist shifting compositions, this was the record I was referring to. Um, I mean, there's a lot to talk about on this record in terms of the compositional aspects, but I mean, I just want to mention Ghostnet for now. That is one of the best jazz adjacent tracks I've ever heard. It's over an hour long, but in terms of that kind of very minimalist approach to shifting grooves and so my understanding is that it's 3 overdubbed performances. To be able to construct something like that in a way with so many moving parts is it's kind of unbelievable. Every time I listen to that track in particular, it just completely stuns me.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, 100% this has to be on there.
I would agree. I think it is amazing to me that a band that's been around this long can go from releasing music I'm like, awesome, that's really cool jazz, to just like an album that completely blew my mind.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
it's just like where did this come from?
Yeah,
I
because
think it's a spectacular album.
I like I wasn't huge on Bleed. I liked Travel, but this is a whole different level to those records.
Mm.
Um, and I think the next are a band that they have particular moments in their catalog that really, really stand out. Almost every few albums, they deliver something that is like totally like above everything else. And this is one of those for me. I'm probably their best record since. I mean, it might be my favorite from them actually. Honestly, it might be my favorite in their
It's
discography.
my favorite from them as well.
Yeah.
All right,
No.
keep it on moving.
Yep.
Okay, next up is One of Tricks Point Never,
Oh
Tranquilizer.
man.
This guy can't stop winning.
Put it on the listing as well.
I think this is an easy move up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this wasn't on the list originally, was it?
I think I
The
added it. I think when I did a second pass on the list and was like,
Oh, okay, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not talking about it.
Because that was one that I was gonna raise as this needs to be on here. I
Yeah, I
mean,
generally go by like trying to put my top, like whatever's in my top 5 to 6, I like put
mm,
on the long list, and then we sort of go for fun picks. But
right, yeah, yeah,
this is an album that isn't quite in my top 5 to 6, but I think it's just like I think we all love it. It's
yeah.
probably all
Agreed.
close to our
Yeah,
top tens.
and also I
It's
think
his best work, I think.
really,
That's where I'm at, I think.
I would not say that. I would.
I think it's up
Um,
there. I think it's in the A plus to S minus tier. You know, this
yeah,
album.
I agree. I would put it as one of his best, but I don't know. There's some of those records that I have a very deep attachment to, I guess. Um,
Yeah, for me
but
it is his best, or at least tied with R+7 and Garden of Delete. Like
I
that's
will
the three.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean, those two records in particular are, yeah. I can't even. I don't want to start on it, otherwise I'll just be talking forever. So let's just move on and put that on the short list.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's just keep going. Next up is Chino Amobi Eroica 2. We are not talking about the other album they put out. Was that a January release? Airport music for black folk K-pop, which is a shame because it's got the funniest names of an album that came out last year. But I think Eroica 2 is another one of. There's a lot of electronic albums and a lot of hip hop albums on that list. Again, another album that just goes absolutely crazy with sound design, from like sort of visionary level sound design. I think this is on the scale of tech demo to fully fledged release. I think this is on the better end of this. I don't know how it hangs compared to all the other similar things that we really love this year,
Mm.
but yeah, I do really love this album. I don't know if anyone else is sort of particularly willing to push on it.
So this is probably my least favorite record on the list.
Oh, okay.
This is the one that I just did not get on with, and actually, the more I listened to it, the less I enjoyed it. I don't know. I don't like the vocal approach. Again, I love the sound design. I love some of the ideas. The vocals just they don't do it for me at all. They're really
Mhm.
disaffected in a way that just isn't impactful. And
Okay.
I think the sort of very the flatness of the delivery means that he's not really optimizing the kind of pockets that the instrumentals are providing for them, if that makes sense. Um, I liked the track Legend in particular, and I thought I wanted more of that, the sort of more croony approach to the vocals. I think that really suited the style that they were going for more. Yeah, I wanted to like this a lot more than I did. It didn't click for me at all.
And I didn't even get to this one, so sorry, Harry. I can't
I
be
think
your
I
defense
think this one
squad.
is
I'm sorry about this one,
I
Harry,
think this
but yeah,
one is
no,
being cut, I'm afraid.
yeah, this and the I would say this and the Nourished by Time record were the only two on the list that stuck out to me as ones I was like, I don't know if I would even consider this on the list
Mhm.
personally if I was, yeah. Um, Everything else, I think there was something where I'm like, I can see why this should be on the short list. Personally, those two, I just
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
go along
yeah.
with. That's all.
Okay. Let's move on then. Next up, we got Whatever the Weather 2 by Whatever the Weather. I put this on here. I think that we were, when I looked down the list, I thought we were missing a proper chilled out ambient album, and I love this album. I was I like Lorraine James's music, but it never
Mm,
sort of really connected with me to the level that this one did. But there's something about this one over the first one that I think just captures something magical. I think it is a really, really great album, and I think it's like I think it's still fairly underrated, as in like for an album of this quality, I think not that many people
mm,
even checked it out. So yeah, it's sort of a
yeah,
sleep
I am
here.
one of those people.
I I mean, I've always wanted to like Lorraine James music more than I have. I think a lot of the time, records like For You and I and Reflection show some really great glimpses of what she is capable of as an artist. This record was the first one where I really thought this is a front to back fantastic record um,
Mhm.
from her. I'm not sure. I think it's a bit um maybe a bit too sparse and not there's not enough grabbing me to put this on the shortlist.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it, and I think it is Lorraine James' best work to date. Uh, but I wouldn't put it on the shortlist personally.
That is absolutely fine. I'm happy to remove it. I just wanted to talk about it.
But yeah, no, I
But
think it's
it's a
well
bit
worth
of a
talking
blind
about,
spot.
especially because I don't think it got the attention it deserved. And also, I think it being a sort of side project of Lorraine James, I guess, and it being her best release to date, I think it's really, really important to showcase that
Mhm.
because, again, that, that there's something that has been holding me back from absolutely loving previous records by her. And this was the first one where I was like, okay, I really get it.
Mhm. Okay, I'm just rearranging. There we
We've
go.
only got
Okay,
20
next
left, or
we got
19.
20 left. We're zooming. All right, let's have a big hitter. Let's talk about Weed 420s, Esto Noes and Show.
It's on there straight
Put it
on.
in
This is guaranteed.
skip the short list. Just put it in the top 10.
Yeah, put it in the top 10.
Yeah,
I mean,
what's
we've
fine.
referenced a few times about who is the artist of the year.
It's Weed
It's Weed
420.
420. Weed
Yeah,
420 is our artist of the year, no question. No artist has put out that many records of that quality over the course of the last 12 months. We've only got the last of those releases on there, which I would personally agree is definitely the best of all of those.
Hmm.
But this is a paradigm shifting group in terms of the approach to sound collage, rock music, psychedelic music, uh, Latin American music. This is a genuine, like, monumental release, and one that,
yeah,
again, I feel like we're going to be looking back on their output from this year and being like, wow, how on earth did they do all of this? Uh, this is this alongside, I mean, some of the other releases from this year, I think are ones that we will look back as classics in years to come.
yeah.
Like, this is, I am, I am fairly certain that this is something that will even almost will sound almost even better 10 years down the line
Hmm.
when
Yeah.
the rest of
I agree.
music is catching up
If
to
we
what they've done
didn't
on here.
if we didn't put this one in our top 10, if we didn't cut ourselves down to one, there
Yeah,
would
it
be
would have been
probably
like
four
half
or
the top.
five in our top 10.
Yeah,
Like,
it would be
I
like
would
half the top
probably
10.
agree.
I think Miren Guayo would have to be on there, and Amor Diacava would
Photos
also have to
Varias
be on
as
there.
well, Amor de
And
Ancava.
Forces Various, I think, is close. I didn't like that one as much as those other three, personally.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I think those
Uh,
top three in particular easily all could have been in the top 10. And I think we've shown a bit of restraint just putting one on here, to be honest.
I will say that I think so. The reason I think I threw this one on the list is because I think their live stuff is just really blowing me away at the moment. And
Totally.
the moment of the year for
Yeah.
me is actually their live at Radio Nudista show,
The video.
Yep.
which is it's technically treated as a video, whereas this one is more officially like a live album. So
Yeah.
I think that it makes more sense to have this one. But I mean, like, it's again, it makes me laugh that like my first interaction with this band was Bound sending me Amaldo and Carver and me being like, why did you send me this? Like, it's such a stupid name. Like, what?
Yeah, and
But
particularly, you know, you look at the cover, you look at the artist name, and you think it's gonna be like almost like shitpost hip hop,
it
you
looks
know?
like,
Well, it's like, well,
like
because it came
YouTube
out around the
slop.
same. It came out around the same time as an album by an artist called Smoke Dope 2016, which has a
Yes,
similar
exactly.
looking album cover, and I thought that album was pretty good, but very much
Yeah,
like not not in
it
the same ballpark as.
the aesthetics of that record, the Amordian Carver, just really kind of I almost wanted to say sort of obscured just how much incredible was going into that album.
Yeah.
You know, it, it almost is a shame that they have such a silly name that causes people to not take them seriously initially, because this is not a shitpost artist. This is a fully fledged band of just I would say genuinely
Massively
like
talented,
game
like,
changing,
yeah.
artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will be seeing the fallout from these records in years to come, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. Especially now that Amado and Carver got some form of shout out on Fantano's channel, right? So
Oh, did it? Oh,
that's
great.
yeah, he talked to some Venezuelan not what's the right word, like DJs and people running the scene, people running the venue.
Yeah.
And they were saying he spoke to the guys over at Radio Nudista who ran the live show that they performed at.
Yeah, nice.
And he was like, who do you recommend? And they shouted out Weed 420. So yeah,
Yep.
I think give it 2 years, maybe 1 year, and I think we'll see them go crazy.
This is the kind of band that like you need to get into right now so you can be really cool in like 2 years time.
Yeah. Please release some merch. Please release some records. Please let me support your band. I want to buy some stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on. That's a pretty easy lock. Let's go on to Shallow Water. God's gonna give you $1 million. Thank you, Bound, for this one.
Yeah, this one I feel pretty solid about saying we could shortlist.
Yep.
Just from the fact that at least me and Harry both love this album.
I really like this
I remember you really liked it too, Evan, but like, yeah, this is just the pinnacle of that kind of country gaze like sound with a lot more slowcore in it as well. Just like unbelievably good. I love how dynamic it is. I love all the performances.
As I say, I think my only complaint with this record is it does kind of lean into being a bit formulaic at times in terms of the build-up structure, but what it is actually doing in terms of that build-up structure is really effective and really cathartic in a way that in terms of like volume dynamics, this is one of the most effective records I've heard. I put it sort of almost similarly to I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, the most recent Ostraka record. I know it's very similar approaches, but very different approaches, but in terms of the way in which volume dynamics are used, it's like up there with that in terms of effectiveness, personally. Yeah, no, I thought this was great.
Nice. All right, let's keep it moving. Okay. This is a big one for me now. Next album is going to be 23WA's AZ.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
this is a big one.
this is a big one.
This is like maybe my number one.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Okay. So I so when we talked about this record, I was positive on it and I did really like it.
Mhm.
But I don't think I actually quite having now listened to it a bunch more since then. When we first reviewed this, I don't think I really actually got just how good this thing was.
Okay.
And
I felt like you're going to
having
get
Yeah.
me away for a second there.
no, having
Yeah.
gone back to it in preparation for this, it
Mhm.
went from being a record where I was like, okay, I know Harry's going to push for this. I'm happy to have it on the shortlist, whatever,
Mhm.
to one I think it stands with some of the other more like genuinely revolutionary records on this list, and is again another album that I think is going to age incredibly well. Uh, I think viewing this, I think I came into this record almost more as a sort of as like a pop hip hop record, and I think almost viewing it more as like a very very strange maximalist approach to almost ambient music and collage music.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as that sort of flip switched in my brain, it clicked in a way that just made me absolutely adore this thing. It is huge. This is an absolutely colossal record. 83 minutes. It's not a it's not a shallow undertaking, and I think it's something that you really have to dedicate that time to putting this on as a proper listen. But if you are willing to dedicate yourself to like get the most out of this record,
Mhm.
then it is like absolutely one of the best of the year. And again, a very singular release. And I think there are quite a few records on this list that I think are so singular in a way that I think just makes them have to go in the shortlist, and this is one of those.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, this is very clearly one of the best of the year. I think also like someone in the chat was like no Quedeca. This album is why there's no
Yeah,
Quedeca,
yeah,
because I listened
exactly
to
right.
this
Like,
album first and then the Quedeca album and I was like
do you,
there's like
do you know what? I had
yeah.
the exact same experience because I think had I listened to them almost in the other order, I would have appreciated the Quedeca record more. But I heard this and I was like, this is what he's trying to do, but so much more realized. And I almost want to say in slightly better taste as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I liked the Quedeca record, but it's not comparable to this
No,
personally. And I
no,
think they are
exactly.
quite similar in what they're trying to do. But if you've got to pick one, it's a no contest for me.
Yeah. Okay, before we move on, can we take 5? I just need to pee.
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
I'm
So
gonna.
yeah, I guess we can go through what is on the shortlist so far. I guess.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so we've got Backwash, Only Dust Remains, Zayok in Elsewhere, Ethel Kane Perverts, Jane Remover Revenge Seekers, Primitive Man Observance, Ramlair Hypervigilance, Giant Claw Decadent Stress Chamber, Shiram In the Wind of Night, Hardfallen Incantations Whisper, Billy Woods, the new album, but I'm not sure if I should say the title of Kelly
Yeah,
Moran, Don't
I think
Trust
you
Mirrors,
can.
the next Disquiet, One Tricks Point Never Tranquilizer, Shallow Water, God's Gonna Give You $1,000,000, 23 WAAZ, and Weed 420 Esto No S Un
Mhm.
Show. So we've got, I believe, what just over 15 left to categorize into the shortlist.
Yeah, and we've got like 15
Oh,
on the short list.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the remaining ones.
Yeah, it's gonna be
we're gonna have
rough.
to make some hard cuts here.
I'm gonna have a look. How many of these do I think I really? Yeah, I would say about half of these are still really big
Yes.
hitters.
It's
Okay.
gonna be rough.
Let's talk
Okay,
about.
I gotta go real quick. I
Yeah,
need
yeah,
to take 5.
yeah.
Take the brain now. Go for it.
I'll put the stream on the hold screen and mute you guys. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. All right. I'm just gonna.
Cool. Okay.
I'll leave it recording, but I've just
Do you know what?
spliced
If
it.
Dan's
Yeah,
gonna go,
should
I'll
I
go
also
for it as well.
clap?
No. I've got
Okay.
it on mine. That's good.
Okay.
All right. I'll grab a drink as well. I'll come back.
Yeah, I'll be back in a sec. Okay, my bad.
I
Well,
won't
now's
do
the
it anymore.
perfect time. Now's the perfect time to spill all your darkest secrets because we're back.
Mhm.
Hello.
All
Okay,
right.
so we
Let's do the
are
clap.
back.
Because I'm drinking whiskey, I went and got some toast so I don't get too drunk.
That's fair.
We got another little glass for chatting about.
Nice.
Okay, it's time for the next album. We're
No,
going
it's
to talk
time to
about
clap,
Vivian.
right?
Ooh.
Or no, we're good.
Vivian. Oh
Yeah,
no,
I think
no,
we're
no.
good, right?
I'll
Yeah,
read it
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
after, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
We got Vivian Reigns, Porcelain Blood Canvas.
So this is a record that I really, really loved. And this is an album that I am. We always get these at this point in the sort of album of the year things where, had this come up earlier in the list, I really would have pushed for it. I get the feeling that it's probably not going to make the list based on some of the other stuff it's competing with. But what I want to say is this is probably the single most underappreciated record of the year in terms of the amount of people that have heard it uh, in comparison to the actual quality of the album. It's a really bizarre and interesting piece of sort of noise and post-industrial and free improvisational music that was originally designed for some art installations, I believe. It was released as a record in January last year, and I think this is one of my favorite sort of avant adjacent noise records. I think there's a real depth to a lot of the sounds and a lot of the ideas on this thing that is um puts it above a lot of the similar things in this style. I think particularly the sort of more improvisational jazz aspects to this record uh adds just adds another layer to what is going on here, uh above the fact that it is already just like a texturally gorgeous and captivating record. um yeah, I don't think it quite stacks up to some of the big hitters that we've already talked about, but I
Yeah.
think in terms of like noise records, if you are into noise or anything adjacent, weird jazz, anything like that, this is a record that you need to hear. And I think, as I say, so few people seem to have heard this thing that I really felt like I wanted to give a big sell on it in the album of the year. As I say, this is probably in my top 10 for the year, but it is so very specifically my thing. So I imagine it's probably not there for really anyone else, I would imagine. But it's a phenomenal record that I think really I felt the need to talk about and give a bit of shine to,
Mhm.
because
It is fantastic.
yeah
It is really,
yeah
really good.
I
No,
also really love this album.
I
yeah
wish
no
less good albums came out this year, so this could be in the top 10, but I'm looking at this list and it's just
no I
I
know
can't picture it,
as
unfortunately.
someone who would have this on in that my personal top 10, I don't think this makes the collective top 10. But I as I say, I needed to talk about this thing because it is uh as I say, in terms of noise music, this has a breadth and scope to it that I think really is really sort of ear catching in a way. Um
Mhm.
there is another noise record on here as well that I think is sort of competing as well, that I guess we're
Well,
going to talk about in a bit
we're about to
as well.
talk about that one next. So,
Oh, okay.
you
Um,
wanna should we scrap this and get really stuck into that album instead? Because I really love this album,
yeah,
but if I were to prioritize one of these two records,
Yeah. And
yeah.
I assume this is
I
the EP that Evan and I were
This
both
was the
this
talking
EP I
is
was
about.
talking
this
about
is the
previously.
EP. This is
So,
not the EP I was talking about, but uh,
this is my EP of the year.
Yeah.
Have we said the name yet?
it's Uboa's Dead Meltdown. It's got a longer
All the
title. I just
Dead
wrote Dead
Meltdown as
Meltdown.
Rain.
All the Dead Meltdown as Rain.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is I believe it's about half an hour EP. We talked about Ubo's Impossible Light in 2024. Uh, I believe that was one of our most in-depth discussions on a record, particularly for a noise adjacent record. Those are albums that are typically quite hard to talk about. The more abstract you get in terms of the music that is created, the harder it is to talk about outside of the sort of conceptual angle to it. That is one of the best noise records of all time. I think all three of us would agree with that. This is, I wouldn't say it's as good, because I think that is like, as I say, Impossible Light is a album of the decade contender for me in terms of the 2020s so far. This is not an album of the decade contender, but it is the EP of the year. It is one of Yuboa's best releases, and it continues to show why she is like, she's the best in like death industrial noise, dark ambient currently working, I would say. I think no one else is on her level. And
I would agree.
this is a I think almost the thing is with this record is that she has almost made albums this good feel a bit ordinary within her recent catalog. And as I say, because of just how good Impossible Light is, it's hard not to compare it to that. Obviously, it's not attempting the same scope. It's not, we don't have the same goal here. It is a shorter record. It is a more direct record, and for what it is incredibly effective, and definitely my EP of the year. Yeah, I think if a noise record's going on there, it's got to be this. But does it? I don't know. What do you guys feel?
It's definitely going shortlist. I'm probably gonna try and push for this for top 10.
Okay, sure.
I do think Impossible Light is a little better, but I think this is like on a similar level for what it's trying to do.
Yeah, no, I think in terms of the actual like musical elements to it, right? I think it's on a similar level. I think Impossible Light has, obviously by being a sort of mainline album release as opposed to a sort of EP, it has a greater focus and a greater sort of level of ambition to it. So I feel like, I don't know, it feels almost a little unfair to compare it to that, but at the same time, you know, we are coming off the back of like one of the best noise records ever released, right? You know, so
yeah.
So I put it in the shortlist for now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I would personally have this in the top 10, just again because of some of those considerations, but I think it's a worthy inclusion for sure.
Mm-hmm. I've got no complaints of any of that. I think this album is incredible. Very, very, very important album from this year. Okay, next up is Lucy Bedrock's On Music.
Okay, we're getting some real big hitters in a row now.
My time to shine.
I thought Bound's neck snapped back. Like,
yeah,
it's been summoned by
I'm
the
gonna let you
law.
take this, Bound.
Yeah, this is the most fun I've had listening to music this year, by a pretty significant margin. I think this is probably, I might have listened to this more than the Billy Woods album this year, and that's my favorite album ever. So I mean, this is the year that I kind of got rage music. Like, even when I didn't like a whole lot of Red in 2020, I like understood the appeal. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah.
But as time has gone on, I feel like people have taken that sound and brought it into into terms and ways that just like work for me. And this is by a landslide the most an album in this sound has ever worked for me. It's just so incredibly fun, so catchy. There are so many, like, every single song, even if I don't like know from the title what it is, as soon as I hear it, and like I could I could go along to this entire song. I know it all like the back of my hand. I don't have particularly deep thoughts on it, but I don't think it's like it's not one that you need particularly deep thoughts on, but like this is by a lot the most fun release of the year for me, the one that I've like addictively like come back to. Like there was ever since it released, I probably listened to it at least once a week since it came out to the end of the year. Yeah, this is just like so fun, so catchy, so much like great melodic work in there too, without ever sacrificing the kind of high energy, blown out everything that makes it a Rage album. Yeah, I just have so much love for this project, and I don't need to hear anything you guys are saying. I'm putting it on the short list.
Yeah, no, I totally
That's
agree. I think this is one of the most energetic, one of the most infectious releases of the year. You can't put this on and not have fun.
yeah.
And as I say, I think this was the record. Again, similar to you, Bound. I did really like some of the aesthetics of Rage, but I just felt like it didn't come together as a sort of coherent musical movement in a way that that I wanted. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the record that took that style and added unbelievable amounts of energy and just brilliant pop songwriting as well. Um, yeah, this is for me a genre defining record for a genre that is
Yeah.
very much still emerging, and particularly I think this is again a record we're going to be coming back to in years to come as sort of the leading light of the sort of Rage subgenre,
Mhm.
and a showcase of what that sound is capable of.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've uh, you've taken the words out of my mouth. I agree with all of that. I think it is a really interesting album.
Yep.
Really, really fun. And also, it's like it's sort of become my go-to example
Yeah.
when I'm trying to explain to people who don't really they like hip hop, but they're not that familiar with like older hip hop heads who are maybe more
Mm,
interested in seeing what is coming out new in the genre. This is kind of where I'm going at the moment. Is like here's some crazy
yeah.
shit that the new
Yeah.
gen are putting out
Listen
there.
to 2010 Justin Bieber. Your mind will be blown.
Oh yeah.
That Jack Hughes snare, too influential. Uh,
So true.
all right. Oh god, there's so many good albums in
Yeah,
the
I
last
know.
week. We
Okay,
really
let's
saved
keep it
like
moving. Keep it moving. Keep
all
it
right,
moving.
McKinley Dixon, Magic Alive.
I like this one a lot.
I
Um,
really like this one. It's really good.
yeah, it's so fun. It's so vibrant. Again, we just said Lucy Bedrock is the most fun album of the year. This is definitely up there. Um, the features are great on this thing. It has a really great thematic and emotional through line. For me, it's the you know McKinley Dixon is an artist that I feel like has excelled in making, for me at least, like really good 8 out of 10 records. Ones that I've really enjoyed, but haven't really connected on a deeper level. I think there are moments on this that are a little overwrought, but I think it has a much more emotional connection to it that I think it I probably enjoyed this more than any of his other previous releases, though I'm not sure I would say it's substantially better. I think it's just more my favorite, if that makes sense.
I think I'm going to say something that Bound is going to disagree with. I'm going to say that uh, I think McKinley Dixon currently has one of the most complete live shows of any artist right now. When you look at the material from 3 or 4 albums put together into a live show, I'm like, it's just banger after banger after banger. When I saw them this year,
That is very
One of the
true.
best live hip hop shows I've ever seen. Like,
I think the accumulation of all those albums is like insane. But then when
yes.
I look at
Yeah,
I'm just looking at the track list on this album right now, I'm like, oh, there's like 6 songs here I adore and 4 songs that I can't remember.
yeah. And do you know what? I listened to this album I think 3 days ago, and I am in the same place as you. Uh, I think it's fantastic. I don't for something as concise as this. I don't think it's quite consistent enough to be one of the absolute top records of the year. But it is my favorite from McKinley Dixon today. I think it is a fantastic album, and again, one that I'm going to continue following his career. And I
Yeah.
actually, as I say, I would really like to see him perform live. Now that you've said that, because
I
as you say, across those previous 3 records, there is about probably an album and a half, 2 albums worth of like genuinely unbelievably good material.
Yeah, I think this is his best work, and I'm saying this as
Mm.
someone who was an early adopter. Like I found him before For My Mama,
Yeah.
which no one did. I think those first two albums still both have less than 300 ratings on Rate Your Music. Like
They the first one has broken 300, the second one
okay,
has not.
yeah,
So yeah, when you compare that to the 13,000
yeah,
ratings
exactly.
that this new one has, yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, but I just like for me this feels like the ultimate culmination of the past
Yeah,
three albums for me.
I
And
totally
what I
agree.
love so much about this record, and I have a feeling it's not gonna make the list, so I'll get my stuff out for it
Yeah,
now.
yeah, okay.
Um, I think that taking those three albums as a unit does really strengthen this album because it is so interreferential
I
with
totally
his
agree.
previous work. Um, but standalone, I still think it's a fantastic record. It's
Yeah,
just like front to back. There are maybe moments that are less memorable than others, but I don't think there are moments that are in any way worse than others. Like there are no moments where I'm like taken out of it or like yeah, this part could be better or whatever. Like there are moments that are like soaring highs, like some of the best
mm.
music I've ever heard, but there's nothing on there that I can point out as being like, "Oh, this is not as good." You know?
Yeah, I totally agree with you in the sense that it's not as electric as some of the best moments all the way through. But yeah, there isn't a moment where I'm like, actually, this doesn't work. Like it's consistent in the sense that there is a baseline level of quality that is really high, and then
Yeah.
there are other moments that peak unbelievably high. But
Yes.
it's almost like going between those two throughout the course of the runtime. Yeah, I loved it. I'm not sure I put it on the shortlist. I
Yeah, I would
This
absolutely
is like
put
a
it on the
top.
short
This
list,
is
but
like a
now that I
top
see
20 to 25 album for
Mhm.
me.
yeah, now that I
You
see
look at
like where this
you look
list is at, I'm fine with putting it off the
I'm looking at the more I look at the rest of the list, I'm like, it's
No,
gonna go.
exactly. I'm gonna take one for the
Yeah,
team and just knock it.
but
Okay.
yeah,
First,
I don't want to minimize just how good this record is
Yeah.
because I think there are years out there in which this makes a top 10.
Yeah. Real quick, I just need to lock my door because the cats are trying to break in, and they will if I
Oh,
don't lock it.
yeah.
One
no
second.
Actually,
worries.
that's a good point. I didn't close my door properly either.
We shall. Hello, chat. It's just me now.
All right.
I was just saying hi. I was just saying hi to your chat. Uh, okay, next album is Klein's "Sleep with a Cane."
Okay, so
It's the other noise album.
yeah, well, this is an interesting record from Klein. So Klein uh I believe released two albums in 2025, both of which I thought were fantastic. First of all, we had 13 Cents, which was a really, really interesting approach to noise, guitar-led noise music. Um, I thought that record was really, really interesting, and I got a lot out of it. But if I had to pick one of the two, which I guess I would have to go with the mixtape. I guess "Sleep with a Cane," which is sort of a 90-minute more ambient drone based record. In terms of Klein's more ambient facing stuff, I think this is her best record to date. I mean, she has been on I would say a phenomenal run since 2022's Cave in the Wind in particular. Uh, this is up there as yeah, is probably her best record with some of the more weird collagey stuff. It's definitely a little more straightforward than some of her weirder albums, but in terms of a more direct, sort of ambient approach, I think it is her best in that sense. What is the limiting factor here for me is if I have to pick an ambient record, I'm probably going for Kelly Moran over this. Uh,
Yeah, I think I'd agree.
even though I think this is a really, really amazing album, and I've got a lot out of it. Um, yeah, if you are into long form ambient music and just nice, interesting sounds, this is completely essential. I think the compositional elements of the Kelly Moran record really put it above that for me. If we're gonna have to compare the two. So yeah, as much as I'd want to put this on the shortlist, I think if we're looking at similar records, there are other albums I would probably have above this. But especially because, in particular, Klein released 2 records I think just missed the shortlist for me. Both this and 13 Cents are probably again around that like top 20 to 25 for me for the year. Yeah, I really wanted to talk about it, but I think on the strength of the shortlist at the moment, it probably doesn't make it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really loved this. I also really loved the one you literally just said, 13 Cents.
yeah,
I think that one I slightly prefer, but if it was the one we were talking about right now, I still don't think I would be able to
yeah. No,
push
I
for
agree.
it over what we've got left.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, shout out to Klein and the absolutely unbelievable work she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, that's good enough for me. Let's give that one a good cut. Okay, next up we've got Heaven Souls and Sticker Brush, Dark Skin. I'm
With
not going to
light
say the
skin
rest of the album.
problems.
Dark
yeah,
Skin with Light Skin Problems. This was a Bound Discovery, I believe.
Yes.
This album pissed me off because I already had like 5 hip hop albums in my top 5. And then I heard this, I was like, shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible. This one.
yeah.
I went back to this one a couple of days ago, and yeah, it really is like as good as I thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, this was a record that I came into it not knowing anything about. I realized in retrospect I had actually heard some of Heaven Soul's stuff before. The
Hmm.
2024 record, Jambalaya, is a really fascinating and excellent piece of sound collage that I think Lua put me onto in 2024.
That checks
Um,
out.
yeah, this record though this is mind blowing stuff.
Unbelievable.
Again, I've talked quite a few times, particularly about, I would say this year had again a few like cream of the crop paradigm shifting records, and this is one of those. In terms of a mixture of, I mean, this is nominally a hip hop album, but I almost would say less than 50% of the actual runtime is hip hop music.
Yeah,
Um, it is so rooted in sound collage and electronic music and just various samples and bizarre soundscapes. It takes so many turns that you just would never expect on the first listen. And I think the sort of opening 2 minutes being sort of a more straightforward experimental hip hop fare really works to almost lull you into a bit of a false sense of security before hitting you with what ever on earth is on the rest of this record. I've listened to this tons over the past couple months in particular. I still don't know if I could fully break down everything that's going on here.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I've just looked at it and seen that in particular, Southern Style Lemon Peppers is bolded. That is one of the
It's a
tracks
yes,
of the year.
that's
banner.
the best one on the album for sure.
Unbelievable, like across the board. And it goes across several different like compositions that all work really well individually, but also together. This record has a great flow to it. Yeah, for me, this has got to be on the list. It's got to be on the list.
Yeah, I've moved it to the short list.
That is absolutely
We
fine with
are
me.
getting close to the
Okay,
end here.
we're getting
Yeah,
close. Okay, Chat Pile and Hayden Pedigo in the Earth Again.
It's
It's
good.
really good. I really like Chat Pile. I like
It's
Chat
not
Pile. I like
making the
everything
list.
Chat
I'm
Pile
sorry.
do. It's
it's
there's
not the list.
no shot it's making the list. We could probably move on pretty soon. I think Hayden
Yeah, no,
Pedigo has had a very
I
good
mean,
start with it.
it's cool. It's a different approach from Chat Part. I didn't go back to this
Yeah.
in preparation for it. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to hear them do this. But in terms of, and it is a good record, but in terms of Chat Pal's actual output, outside of this, I don't think it stacks up quite to their sort of more
That
noise rock,
is absolutely
sludgy
fine.
stuff.
All right, let's jump straight over to Earl Sweatshirt, Live, Laugh, Love.
Oh,
Come on then,
It's his
Evan.
best, I
Throw it
think.
out there.
this is my this is unreservedly my favorite Earl album.
Yeah.
I think just the I mean, people always talk about Earl in terms of his delivery and his sort of attitude and the way he sort of exists over the instrumental in a way that is quite almost antithetical to the way a lot of rappers were operating, particularly around the time that he broke out in that kind of style with some rap songs. Um, this to me is the most consistent project. It is the most sort of like hooky project. It's the most. It has a consistent, really. It has a really nice feeling to this album. It makes me feel incredibly relaxed and um I don't know. There's something about this record that makes me feel very happy to be alive
It's
in a way
it's
that,
light it's light mode
yeah,
some rap songs.
it really is.
Yeah,
But
yeah, sure.
I really think that his the writing on this record is the best it's ever been. And particularly, again, I'm really glad because I never look at these in terms of like what songs are bolded on albums or radio music. That Tourmaline is bolded. That is again one of my songs of the year. The hook to that is just like absolute gold dust. Maybe my favorite song from him ever. Definitely my favorite album from him ever. Does it make the list? After I've said all of that, I the thing is there are what I want to say is I think if we are looking at hip hop records on here, I would probably have this above the Backwash album. That's my gambit, I guess, to get this at least
I
onto
would,
the shortlist.
yeah, I would agree with that.
Maybe. I don't
I'm
know.
happy to shortlist this for now. I think
Yeah.
we can make
Okay.
we,
Okay.
realistically
Okay.
they're both getting killed. So.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I think
I don't think either makes the top 10.
I
Is
think the
why
better
I sort of said
solution is
that.
we just take both
Shortlist
to the
everything.
short.
Yeah. We'll take both and we'll go over the shortlist once we're
All
done.
right.
Or
And
no,
say we are down
I
to
was saying the faster solution is I think I am alone with Backwash, so I think we might just be better off taking both off.
Okay, that's fine.
Unless you
I'm seeing
really
the writing on
think
the wall
Earl,
here.
unless you
Nah.
think
I
Earl
don't.
is
No,
has a shot.
I don't. I wouldn't push for it for a top 10 personally, but I loved it. I really really love this record, and it's one of those things where I almost when some rap songs was so big, it didn't really click with me, and I felt like I was really missing out on something quite special just on how people were
Yeah.
reacting to
I
that
felt
record.
exactly the same way.
And this it's almost like I feel in on the club now, you know. I feel like
Yeah.
I really understand what people have got out of this record and why he's such an I mean you could tell even with it not clicking for me why he was such an incredible artist, but yeah, as I said, this is the one that made me go, wow, this is Earl is one of the best to do it like ever.
Yeah. All right. So, is the solution Earl shortlist or Backwash and Earl both off?
Take them both.
Take them
off.
both.
We can
Okay.
take them both off because I don't think either will.
I don't think either one's gonna make top 10. Okay.
I think there are stronger hip hop records on the list, personally. But yeah, no. Again, I want to just emphasize just how much I love this because it is, really outstanding.
Okay,
Alright.
next up we've got Everything is Psychedelic, The Beautiful Malaise. So I am the one going to bat for this.
Yes.
This is the collaboration album between Tony Montana and the Psychedelic Ensemble. I think the Tony Montana is in an interesting place right now where like
yes,
I've seen him live twice, and both times he was supporting other artists, fighting for his life to like get people on side with this like insane chaotic thing that he's come up with. with
Mm.
the psychedelic ensemble, and it's like I just don't think it's one of those one. It's the Marty McFly, like, you know, your kids are
You're
gonna
not,
love it
yeah,
type of
kids are
thing.
gonna love. I mean,
Uh,
my sorry not to cut in,
no,
but
no, 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 go for it.
I think I've mentioned on this podcast before about my just absolute endless frustration with the lack of genuinely experimental music in UK hip hop, because
Mhm.
there are so many interesting sounds and flows and approaches, and particularly from a drum and sound design perspective, there is so much that can be done within UK hip hop to create a really, really interesting and just like bombastic experimental style. I mean, we see with a lot of UK producers, like, I mean, the one that obviously comes to mind for me is Igloo Ghost takes a lot of inspiration from sort of UK drill and stuff like that in his production, and he is able to take that to unbelievable places. And it's always felt like a huge waste to me, the lack of genuine experimentation in the
Well, and
UK
it's
hip hop scene.
like
And this, I it was so refreshing to hear this,
Yeah.
genuinely.
and like Dizzy Rascal's album came out in 2003, and that's still
And
like
we are
one of the
still,
most most
yeah,
experimental UK hip hop
we
albums.
haven't progressed past that point, really. And that's not to minimize some of the best of UK hip hop since then. There has been some fantastic stuff, but it is very much focused within that mainstream appeal.
Yeah.
There is not, and the a lot of the innovations have actually, you know, come across from elsewhere within UK music. So I think, yeah, just on principle, the fact that this record exists in the way that it does, I was like, just thank God. Thank, thank God this exists. We need so many more artists like Tony Montana. What I will say is, it doesn't fully come together for me as a record, despite
Mhm.
everything I've just said. Um, I think there are parts where he's just not quite charismatic enough on the mic yet to sort of pull off what he's going for at times. But I think the approach here is so eclectic. And yeah, I don't know. I think it's the spoken word segments that kind of take it out for me as well. Um,
I
th-
think Letterboxd Man is genuinely one of my
That
favorite
one's really good.
one of my
that one
favorite
is,
skits of the
do you
year.
know what?
It's
I
so
will
good.
absolutely give that. And just beautiful name, beautiful, like, just nailed it
Mm.
on that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I
it's a dense record. It's very, very interesting, and it is just, as I say, I cannot emphasize enough how happy I am to see artists within UK hip hop actually taking risks with their approach to their music.
I think I'm too Canadian for this album. it
I,
didn't it
I
didn't
think
hit
that
for me.
I think that might be part of the issue. I think that is probably, you know,
Yeah, I mean,
the fact that makes it very
this is
difficult to grow as an artist.
this is very rooted within that scene as well. That I think is really, again, a lens to it in that respect. But I think if you're not as familiar with UK hip hop, maybe it's not as effective. Um, but again, there's a few records that I've spoken about on here where the album is good, uh, but is more been in terms of just highlighting someone as an artist that is likely to do something special in the future. And I think Tony Montana is one of those artists. I am fully on board with him from here on. I think, yeah, I think he has potential to do some really great things, but I wouldn't be
I'm happy
100% sure
to
as to.
leave it at this is a maybe top five record for me.
Oh, wow, okay.
But yeah, I don't think it makes the joint list.
Yeah.
I bought the
Um,
CD. Apparently, he's not doing vinyl pressings of this, or at least not in the
hmm.
near future, because the engineering effort to get this released on vinyl was almost impossible.
I believe it.
Yeah, I don't know
um,
how you would make.
it's
Yeah,
just all over the place. So,
yeah, no, I
um,
don't know how you would sort out that mix. I mean,
yes,
not to say that it needs sorting out as a digital thing, but in terms of actually getting that pressed to vinyl, that would be a bit strange.
yeah. But yes, I can't recommend this enough to people.
Yeah, I'm really happy you
If
put this on the
you're
list because
enjoying some of these
I
other
missed it completely, and if it wasn't for you putting it on this list, I would not
uh
have, probably wouldn't have heard it. So yeah, this is an artist that I am really happy to big up from
mhm.
here on.
Yeah.
Um,
It's okay.
okay, let's
For UK
move
hip hop, we're
on.
still saved because that Louse the Cat album came
Yeah, I wasn't.
out.
Some friends who listen to Modulation put me onto that. It wasn't for me, I'm afraid.
It's
Uh,
also not for me.
No.
that's okay. Okay, let's talk. Right, this is my hill. This is my hill, and I will die on it. The next album
Really
is Jane Remover's Heart.
Ooh.
interesting.
It
Interesting.
this is the best EP of the year.
No. It's good.
I,
No.
I, li- I, li- I liked it, but my feelings are I much prefer
I
Revenge Seekers personally. That
okay, interesting. I think this is for what it is, which is a 26-minute pop EP. I
yeah
think this is I don't think this album puts a step wrong. I don't think it puts a note wrong the entire time. I think it is actually
yeah
perfect. And in my opinion, I think this is the best. I would say it's the best pop album since like Emotion.
okay wow.
I think you could go back 10
Since
years and not find a
Emotion,
better
hang on.
and not find a better
Hang
pop
on,
album than this. I'm
hang on.
that's how in I'm going on this one.
Wait, Emotion was what 2015? What's come out? I
I thought it
mean,
was
Pop 2?
2012.
yeah.
No way.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was 2015. Okay,
I
yeah, I'm saying in the last decade. I'm gonna
okay.
have a look at the last decade to see if there's anything that challenges it.
I did really like this. Uh, Revenge Seekers was the one that clicked for me more personally. And if we're gonna have one of the two, I would push for Revenge Seekers above this. But I know you are very, as I say, I'm not. There's not so much to split them that I'm gonna be super upset about one of them over the other.
Mhm.
But I do think we need one of the two on the shortlist.
Yeah, looking at the list now. So I think I like this EP more than Revenge Seekers. I think I'm with you on that, Harry.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm happy to have it
I
over it.
don't-
You guys both.
I don't know if
agree with
either one is making the top 10, but I think this should go
I
on
also
the
think
short
that.
list.
Okay, I found there is one pop album I think is better than this album in the last decade, and that's
What is it?
Magdalena Bay's Imaginal Disc.
Of course.
Okay,
That was like
your
less
one.
than a year.
Magdalena Bay album. Come
that's
on.
your one. That's all I'm giving you.
I don't know. I prefer the Mercurial World personally. But
I think both are perfect.
I
I
mean-
think both are better than this Jane Remover EP, but
I agree.
hang on. Now I'm doing a
Now I'm looking at
super
pop
quick
albums.
detour. Sorry. I
It's-
just need
Right.
to. You've
No,
said something
this isn't
so
better
egregious.
than Pang. This is not better
It's
than
not
Pang.
better than Pang.
so true.
It's maybe. It's about
Definitely
the
better
same.
than Pang. What are you talking about?
Nah.
Okay, well,
I'll keep looking
want
while
both
you move on to the
I want
next.
both shortlisted for now, and we can,
Okay,
we
sure,
can
sure,
hash
sure,
it
sure,
out later. But I
Okay.
really think this has got to be up there with one of my most listened albums of the year. It's just there's something about it that is just like it caught me in the same way that Max and Match caught me, where it was like there's just something
Right, okay.
so magical about those couple of tracks. Where I'm like, you
Wait,
put it on
Max
when
and
you're
Match was in
running.
the last decade, right?
Yeah, this is better. So
No, it's no. No, it's
Absolutely
all
not.
right,
Sorry.
shortlist it. Let's move on.
Yeah. I agree. This is not better than Titanic Rising. Sorry. Keep going.
All right.
I would
Next up
say it actually is
is
better than Titanic Rising.
I think it is better. Nina Geraci. I love my computer.
So this is another great pop record, and do you know what? Part of why I wanted this on here as well. I do kind of want to apologize a little bit because there were some tracks on this that I didn't enjoy the first time we talked about it, and I have enjoyed a lot more since then.
Is this? Are
particularly
you
iPod
finally
Touch.
atoning for iPod Touch? Yeah.
Yeah, iPod Touch. I don't know what I was thinking. That's one of my worst takes that has ever appeared on the podcast. Yeah, I can't excuse that. I will stand by. I think "Fuck My Computer" is one of the less good songs on this. I will stand by that take.
No. What
Okay.
about? I don't remember
what on
your
earth
original.
I was talking about.
I don't
with-
remember
with
your
iPod
original
Touch.
info hazard take.
Yeah, that one's grown on me not as much as iPod Touch. I still don't think I still don't love the vocals.
Damn.
But I love the instrumental. This is And I mean, we just talked about an EP. This is an album that I think if you reduce to a 5-track EP would be like one of the best EPs of all time. I don't think it's consistent enough to be on the list, but I think stylistically bringing that sort of glitchy electro complextro back into vogue, but in like a much more tasteful pop oriented way. I think it's genius. I think she is absolutely fantastic. And the best tracks on this record are the best tracks of the year. It's not consistent all the way through, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel
This
similarly.
it would not feel right to have an album of the year for 2025 that this didn't get mentioned personally, because I think again it is tracks like iPod Touch, like particularly for me. I know this isn't one of the biggest ones on here, but It's You in particular. They're like, again, unbelievable. I love All I Am as well.
I'm just gonna throw out there that if I went off to the bathroom and I came back and I was like, oh, while I was away, they put Nina Geraci on the top 10, I'd be like, hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like this is a record
nice. Yes,
it feels like it fits here. I don't think it's quite consistent enough.
I think it is unfortunately bodied by better albums. It's like it's another one of these ones where I'm like, in another year, 10 years, if this had released 10 years ago, it would have been, easily top 10. But in this year, it's pretty. In a minute, we're going to put this on a list with 10 albums that are more important than it, and it's just kind of fun. So
I don't know. I mean, for me, as someone who was hugely into the sounds that this is drawing from as a kid, and has a lot of nostalgia for this kind of music, this is like almost the best way of reincorporating that into sort of modern pop music and electronic music that I could imagine. The fact that this album exists to me is kind of incredible. And I think the best tracks on here I will be listening to forever. Yeah, but as an album, I don't think it makes it personally.
Yeah, that's where I'm at
before we move on, can we stop and restart our local recordings? Because my Adobe Audition is freezing every 10 seconds. It's still recording, but I'm like, I just don't want it to crash. So I'm gonna.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna stop right now.
Okay. Yeah, I've stopped.
So should I make a new file or?
Yeah. Let's
let me real quick just export.
Yeah. Okay. I will.
It's gonna take a full minute to save. I just don't want it to crash after recording for 3 hours.
Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah. Okay. I'll just export real quick. So I have it.
20 seconds.
Cool. And then let me make a new audio file. AOTY 25.2.
Why is this going to take 2 minutes to export? What?
It's just very long.
It's a big file.
It is a big file.
Cool. I'm ready to click record when we are good to go.
All right. Mine, I think. Let me just, before I close out this, make sure that the thing exported properly.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm still on my old laptop because I haven't moved all my recording stuff and things onto my new one. So it's a little slow.
Touch, yeah. Okay, yeah. So my file is good. I'm ready to hit record whenever.
Sorry, mine's going to take about another minute.
You're good.
That's all right.
I guess I didn't need to export it now, but I don't want to stop it.
That's okay.
But yeah, I guess, again, while we're doing this, we can take a look back at the shortlist so far.
We're very close to the end now.
I mean, we've got 5 records left.
5 left.
Oh no, 4.
Huh?
Nina Geraci is gone.
Oh right, yeah, I haven't moved that yet.
You just haven't moved it yet. So, I mean, dare I say, is this what the final shortlist is going to look like?
We're about to. I mean, no, because we're about to talk about an album that is no. We're about to talk about an album that appears to have disappeared.
Oh,
I can't see it on either list, and it's a very important album.
Wait, what?
Is there something we've missed?
It's on my wheel, so it's going in.
What is it?
Put it on there.
So I'll have to reveal it to you in a second.
What? Yeah, wait, hang on. Let me just. Okay, I have. Okay. Okay, I can record again in just a moment.
Okay, should we just count down and click record at the same time?
Let's clap just for
yeah, clapping is easier.
Safekeeping.
I'm recording again.
Okay, I'm recording.
I'm also recording. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Okay, cool.
Excellent. Okay, next up on the list is going to be Los Tanaka.
How
Where
did
it
this
go?
disappear? Oh my god.
That's not okay.
Right. So I'm a little annoyed about this. So I mean, before I try and pick my albums of the year list and make my short list or whatever for this, I very definitively try to avoid anyone else's album of the year lists. But well, I guess you already kind of know what I'm referencing. So this, of course, was named the Pitchfork Album of the Year, and I was very happy to see it get that recognition. But also, I was like, "Damn, this was my fucking hipster ass pick for Album of the Year, and they've stolen it from me." No, in all seriousness, I am so unbelievably happy to see this record get the recognition it deserves, because in a year that I think again has been dominated by some really out there and stylistically interesting and unique records, this is to me the defining musical statement of 2025. Being I mean, how do you even describe this thing as a absolutely raucous mix of uh, traditional Latin American and Andean music, with psychedelic music, with electronic music, with dance music, with uh, experimental rock music. I was lucky enough to catch them play this material live at the ICA in London, and it was completely mind blowing. This is the most in terms of albums that feel like they come from a completely different paradigm to everything else that's happening currently. This is above everything else as like just I don't know. I think when you get to a point where you have listened to so much, uh, particularly experimental music, or you've really dug into a lot of different scenes of music, there almost gets to a point where you're almost like, am I going to hear anything truly new again? I feel like everyone has that moment. And this is an album that completely shatters that perception to me of like, there is always going to be something new. There's always going to be something that you have not considered, you have not even really like conceptualized. I mean, we talked pretty extensively when it came out about DJE, the Chukwumamini Kondori record, of course, made by one half of Los Tanaka, which I believe that made our top 10 for 2023. I can't remember where it was, but I believe it did make the top 10.
Yeah, it must have been pretty close.
That sounds
this
right.
record takes the eclecticism of that music that was very sort of sample based, but very clearly rooted within sort of electronic music, and takes it into, again, it's this feels like the best record in a canon, but we've lost everything else, right? It's like this feels like the end result of years and years of innovation, in a way that it just shouldn't exist as fully formed and as bizarre and as just mind melting as it is. So yeah, this has to be on here. There is no question, for me at least. I don't know.
Yeah, it's no question it's shortlist. Like, I'm just gonna move it right now. For me, this album has like grown and waned on me consistently throughout the year. Right now it's at a peak. Like it is. I
think
adore it, but
similarly to some, there are a couple other records on here. You kind of have to be in the mood for this thing. It is a constant, like, it is constant movement, right? This record does not stop. It does not let up. It is, a barrage consistently throughout. And as I say, that is not always going to be what you want, but when you are in the mood for this thing, I think that there is nothing else like it. Incredible, incredible release, and one that genuinely just like blew my mind the first time I heard it.
Mm-hmm. I'm fully on board with this. I think this album is incredible, and yeah, I think that's a really, really good write-up of the idea of like, you know, genuinely finding new music. This is what it's all about. This is when I tell people, my argument to people for why I'm so involved in this as a hobby, music discovery as a hobby, is that, you know, there's more music that you can listen to in a lifetime. Therefore, you may never hear your favorite album.
Yeah.
And this is like the perfect,
but you should
the perfect
try.
example. Yeah. If you dig deep enough, maybe you'll find something truly incredible, and then you do.
I think the fact that this was a record that has managed to gain that popularity through almost relentless devotion from a small group of like music writers and music journalists and people online, it's something that that kind of heartened me a bit as well, in the terms of like, actually people who are looking out to find the most insane best new music can affect the needle in terms of what's popular to some extent, right? So that was really heartening to me as well, I think, as an aspect of this record.
Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Right,
four
to
more.
go.
Four more.
Ethel Cain, Willoughby Tucker.
Fuck my life, dude. So I really want this to be shortlist. I think I guess my argument for this one and why I like it more than Perverts is it feels like it has so clearly learned from what Perverts did, like what all the lessons that were learned in the creation of Perverts, and for me it feels like a more fully realized project. And I think as well part of it is just my bias towards like slowcore sounds and stuff like that. But like I really truly feel like this is one of the best kind of culminations of an artist's strengths and whatever this year. I think this is just an unbelievable piece of work that I have, for a record in this sound and for a record this long, I've come back to it a lot more than pretty much anything else. I think its best moments are some of the best moments in the genre, point blank period, especially like that final 3-track run is like just ridiculous. I would really like to see it shortlisted. I don't know if I'll be able to fight for it for top 10, but I would like to see it alongside Perverts for a second here.
Okay. I mean, I'm happy to put it there for a moment. Yeah, my feelings on this record, I totally agree with you in the sense that I think she's taken on what she's learned from Perverts and really used that to develop her sound in a way that adds a level of, I almost want to say subtlety that I felt was lacking in some of her previous releases, adds a level of depth that I think was lacking in some of her previous releases, particularly sonically. As you referenced, Bound, I would even extend that last 3-track run to the second half of the record, from Dust Bowl onwards. I think was this just like a sort of 45-minute album, Dust Bowl to Waco, Texas, 5 tracks? This would arguably make the top 10 for me. I think there's a bit of bloat in the first half, and I think some of the poppier moments don't quite work for me, and that's what makes me want to put something like Perverts above it. But the highs of this record are higher than Perverts, and that's why I think I would be happy to see either, because I think in terms of artistic development, very few artists have come as far as Ethel Cain has over the previous 12 months. And I think especially the second half of this record is so emblematic of that. But there's a real restraint to me of wanting to put on a record that whenever I listen to it, I only listen to the second half. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I just stick it on dust. I start at Dust Bowl and just do that because,
Man.
yeah, I don't know.
He doesn't have those fuck me eyes.
I
I'm
fucking
sorry, I
love
don't
that
like that song.
song.
I don't like the song. But also, that track is
Wait,
more similar to her
is this
previous
my chance to
material
say
that
that you're?
I just didn't get on with very well.
This is my
Hmm?
chance to call you filtered after you gave me shit for not liking that Julia Holter track.
There you go.
Wait, was that Miyu?
Miyu.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah, I was
deserve
like, I
shit for
didn't
not
like
liking
this. I've been holding on to that for years. Uh,
it.
okay, let's shortlist it for now, and let's move on to the third from last. We've got Aho-san and Resina Ego Death.
This is a massive victim of the wheel. Yeah,
I want this
this is
shortlisted.
Do
really.
you?
I want this. Yes, I want this
I
shortlisted.
am shocked to hear that because I thought I was going to be pushing for this one the most.
I'm gonna take this first
I,
because we already know Evan likes it. I think
we all know I love this. Okay.
this album is, I think, the biggest victim of there's an element when we're talking about albums, I think, where the cultural impact and the impression, the visual impression an album leaves are just as important as the music. And I
Sure.
think if this had been released by, I don't know, if this had been released by Applecade instead of Perverts, I think we'd be going for this for top 10. But I think because it's by two artists I've never heard of, and yeah, there's something about this that's very unassuming, and I think that distracts away
Mm,
from the fact that this is one of the most intense sounding albums I've ever heard. This album is spectacular. It's so good.
yeah. I mean, earlier we referenced some sort of very sound design heavy, sort of industrial influence music. This is one of the best sounding records I've ever heard. I think the compositions are consistently fantastic. Um, it is is it probably maybe my favorite like truly experimental electronic release of the year. Uh, and as you say, it almost feels weird to say that because there is an element about this that is a bit unassuming. It feels like it should just be a nice sound design ambient record. But there are, as you say, there are elements to the composition on this thing that make it feel really eerie on a level above that is just that comes solely from how this record actively sounds. I think um it it's a level above or even multiple levels above what you would even think. I don't know. Even when you have it listen to this record and enjoy it, I feel like it is even easy to not appreciate just how good it is. Um, I don't know if I would push for it on the shortlist just because of again the quality of everything else on here.
I'm the one
Um,
pushing for it for the shortlist. That's crazy.
but
I wish
I
you had told, like, I wish you had not put this in the, like, section below in our original list because I didn't
Yeah.
know about this album.
oh, okay. I guess
Like,
that makes the decision a bit easier.
I'm happy for it to
yeah.
get its due right now and be taken off. That's okay. But
Okay.
like, I think this is maybe the most unassuming record on the entire list. It's
Yeah,
like
and
it looks like ambient album numbers 173, but like
yeah, and it
it's
is
so much
just
more than that.
not that. It is again, closer to that sort of again that S2ATF sound of just like completely beyond abstract electroacoustics, influenced by sort of club music in a way that just this really does come from a place that is quite hard to pin down again. And again, it feels even more unassuming because of that. There isn't so much something that you can link it to either. There's not really too many records outside of that explicitly bass heavy sound collage that I could say if you like it, you should listen to this. I don't know. It almost feels mostly like a classical record to me at points, with absolutely unbelievable experimental sound design. Um, yeah, I mean, we can put it on there for now. I don't think it'll make the top 10, but um, yeah, I think
Up to
of
you
the records
guys.
remaining, this is the standout. So after this, we've got two more.
Next is OOO.
Okay.
15 out of 15. I think we've kind of already made up our mind on this one.
Yeah. I mean, again, it is quite similar to the Zayoc record in terms of the production. This record to me, it felt like the latest in a long line of like endless iterations of the idea of you make club music, you go to the club fucked up, so the music sounds weird, and then you're like, I want to recreate that. And imagine iterating that process 15, 20, 30 times. That's what you would end up with is this record. It's so boisterous and the vocals are so indecipherable, but in a way that just really works. And I think there is a level of nuance to this record that the completely fried sound palette would kind of belie as well. So I really appreciate why this is on the long list. But if I've got to pick one out of sort of those records, I would go for the Zayoc record. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. Really fun.
Also,
name
I want to
type,
shout out there are like a bunch of One-A-Tricks Point Never samples on this album, and they all go crazy hard.
Yeah, I noticed that too. A really fun artist name to type.
Yes.
They're just the keys are right next to each other.
Yeah.
Bye.
Very satisfying.
That was awesome. Really like
it.
Okay.
This is a really funny album to be lost.
God.
It's Geese.
I
it's
knew
getting
this was
killed.
gonna happen.
Put it on the shortlist right now.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm resisting.
Yep.
Okay, fine.
Nope,
fine,
it's going there.
It's not making the 10. It is not making the 10.
What? Okay, I mean...
So this didn't grow on you at all?
Put it on the,
like, what?
Let's put this on the shortlist. And then Evan can make his case for why this doesn't.
Okay,
fine.
Let's kill the shortlist. The shortlist is dead.
I mean, I have some arguments prepared.
All right. Well, I am deleting the column for the shortlist. We are free of the of the long list. Sorry.
Yeah.
How many albums are on the shortlist right now?
Like 21.
Honestly, we said 15 to 20, so we're not that far from
that's
where
not including. I think there are a couple on here that we can either sort of like eliminate one of two or take some off. So, I mean, are there ones immediately that I think with no discussion are just going into the top 10?
Billy Woods.
Billy Woods. I would say 23WA.
Yeah.
For me. I think there's no world in which that doesn't make the top 10. I would Lost Thuthanaka. I mean, are we going to discuss that?
I think that could use a little. I think that's pretty close to a lock, but I think that could take some discussion.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I mean, in terms of, we already spoke about was it the Backwash record, or did we already take it off?
Well, that's already down, and I'm okay to now that I've moved it to the short list. I'm okay to take Ethel Cain and Willoughby Tucker down.
Yeah, again, I did really like it. I did really like it. It's just the first half drags it down for me personally.
Yeah.
If we're gonna,
yeah, where do we want to start here?
Should we just go from the top? I don't know.
Is the Zayoc album?
Zayoc is close for me. I'm not sure whether it's in the 10. That's borderline for me.
I'm pretty So let's kind of. I'm gonna put a dividing line.
Yeah.
Here.
Totally.
Wait, hang on.
Oh yeah.
Let me just make sure that looks good. We're making an even shorter list, I guess.
We're making a short list. Okay. Yeah, that's one.
Would it not be easier to look for the weakest link at this point?
Yeah, that might be the better option.
So what is standing out? Weirdly, when I look at this list, well, first off, I think we're only going to have one Jame remover, right? So one's got to go.
All right. I'm happy to kill one of the Jame removers.
I think both of you guys like the EP more.
So long as it's Revenge Seekers.
Yeah, I think I have.
I'm happy to keep the EP on here.
Revenge Seekers was like my 49 of the year, so like I'm not.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we can take that off. All right. I preferred it to the EP, but I think they're close enough that I'm happy to have either. So funnily enough, I mean, this is an artist I am a noted massive fan of. But the weakest record to me on this list is the Wonder Tricks Point Never album.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think it's sure.
Other than the one that obviously I know we're gonna
It's
have a discussion
I
about.
mean, like we're talking about killing 9 out of 10s here, right?
Yeah,
But like,
I mean, I would to me, I would say, apart from obviously one, I think all of these records are 9 out of 10 or above, really, for me. So it's
I'm gonna
really hard to rank.
highlight some that I think would be fine to kill.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
This one, this one, and then we can have a big discussion about geese. Okay.
Okay.
In my free kill list, I think Zayok, Perverts, FLK Perverts, the Primitive Man album, the One Tricks Point Never album, and the Aho-san and Resina album.
Yeah, I think that Aoson is not going to make it, so I would take that off. I loved it.
I wish I
wish
I had listened to it. I wish you guys had put it
in
the.
As I say, please give it a go.
I will.
Yeah, and particularly, no, it's fantastic. So, what goes next?
The Primitive Man isn't gonna make it.
No, Primitive Man goes. Yeah,
Primitive Man's too weak.
It again, fantastic record.
It's an excellent metal album. It's not game changing.
No, this is the thing. I think there are so many records on here that are like transformational, right?
Yeah, that's my other issue with the Primitive Man is that the Thou album came out last year, and that was a better example of basically the same sound.
Yeah, and also like it's not too different from Caustic from 2017, for example, right? Which is again, it is probably as good as that record, if not better. But I think really, and particularly for these album of the year lists on Modulation, I really want to particularly highlight records that I think are pushing the envelope, so from that perspective, I think,
which is why you should be really invested in putting Geese on this list.
I think that means I should be invested in making sure Geese does not make this list at all costs.
All right, talk to me about Geese, Evan.
Right. First off, I mean, my first argument, which is not a particularly strong argument because it's just come into my head, but if we're gonna pick, was it 2024, the Cameron Winter album?
Yeah, it was.
December
2024. But yes, I agree. I think that album is
better. First off, the album is better. I just don't think that instrumentals on this record are particularly strong. I think it really relies on the strength of Cameron Winter as a songwriter and a vocalist. I think it gets stuck in pastiche too frequently. I think it's not consistent enough. There are songs I really like on this thing, and I think there are moments that stick out to me, but there are also, again, this record reminds me of Ants from Up There, in the sense that they are both records that I don't particularly like. I understand why people got stuff out of them, but there's just too much on here that doesn't work for me to even say I particularly like it that much. I don't know.
I just can't agree with the idea that like a lot of the instrumentals are like staying in pastiche and stuff like that. Like the instrumentation on here is, to me, still genuinely unconventional for the genre.
I think maybe for the genre, but I just feel like there are so many more bands that could do this better. Maybe they haven't quite done it yet, but like
so my thing is like there are bands that are doing more out there stuff for sure, no question.
Oh yeah, totally. And I'm not arguing.
I feel
that's
like
gonna be the case for any.
Yeah, I feel like the strength of this album is in the fact that it is as weird and unconventional as it is, while still having really, really tight songwriting and really like easy to follow and easy to get sucked into, like song structures and stuff like that. Like I have a hard time. I don't know. I think the way that this album is structured and the way that these songs progress is inventive while not like being something that will push people away. And so that I think is why it has blown up the way it has.
I agree with you, but to me, when I listen to it, it sounds more like a compromise than a, you know, a sort of a synthesis, right? It feels like there are some interesting elements and some boring elements, and we've just smashed them together randomly, and some of and it just means that almost no point of it feels amazing to me. Again, I really like Arpe's to Cocaine. I think that's a great song.
Yeah.
I like particularly some of the songwriting in the back half. It doesn't do it for me. I've said this many, many times at this point, I guess. I do like it more than my first listen. I did have this as a 2.5, I think. I put it up to a 3.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Harry,
That's
your turn.
outrageous.
Harry, your turn. Swap out. It's your turn to.
Man, I just
you guys can shout at me for this all day.
No,
I'm not
I don't
going to
think so.
change my opinion.
I think you're right. It's not breaking ground in a way that we've never seen before. For me, for me, my love of this album is purely vibe space. Where I heard it and I was like, "Holy shit!" It's just
I don't like the vibes though. Is the thing.
Well, the vibes are Ween. Like, and that's why that's the other thing is like Ween is top 3 band ever for me. So
this Ween is way better than this.
The vibes are Ween, but the music is not Ween. It's just that they had they have a
very
similar.
That makes me wish I was listening to Ween even more. Because I'm like, okay. This has the vibe of Ween, but the music sucks. No, okay, that's hyperbole. That's hyperbole. I mean, is this an album I would consider good? Yes. Is this an album I would consider very good? No, I wouldn't consider it even very good personally. Okay. I don't know. I knew this was going to be a fight that I would have to take, and I don't know how.
Well, the thing is, like, even if it makes the list, I don't see it going higher than like 10. So I'm not gonna be like devastated to lose it. But look, this was a fight that had to be had.
I'm happy to take some other ones off, see what the 10 is looking like. If there's other stuff that really needs to make it above this, then I will push for that. If not, then it can take a slot at the end. I understand. I mean, it is. In terms of it, when we look back and think about 2025 in music, this is like the album, right? Again, it's like thinking back to like late 2010s in sort of rock music and experimental underground music.
I think we're going to look back on this like right? I think again, it's outlandish given your opinion of this, but like. When I heard this, I was like, we're going to look back on this like we look back on In Rainbows now.
And you know what? I was going to say, and you know what? The From the Basement is better than the In Rainbows one. So
I don't know. I mean, to me, this record, yeah. Okay, we'll postpone this.
Can we? Okay, instead, let's go back to the front of the list.
Actually, I completely forgot my actual best argument for why this shouldn't make the list.
No.
Okay.
We have 2 very country-influenced rock records here, and this is the worst one.
Okay, because so in my head, I think Shallow Water is actually an easier one to kill.
That was my opinion as well. I take
I was hoping on you guys wanting that one on there. Okay, never mind. We can take that one off then. We can take Shallow Water off.
I can see neither of these albums making it. You know, given the lack of cohesion on both.
I'm gonna put them at the bottom of this list because I still.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay,
that's fine. Sure. Yeah, I'm not ready to kill them just yet.
Okay, so
let me make a push for an album to make the top 10.
Is it Chiron?
I think the Chiron album needs to be
put it on there. Put it on there.
I have no argument here.
I think that's a pretty easy one for me.
That to me is standout. Has to be on there.
And I think the Euboa one is pretty free as well. I think we're all very in agreement about that. Or would you say you're a little bit?
There are a couple records that I would say are like closer to instant lock. The one I'm looking at this, the one that I think needs to be on there from the shortlist is the Heaven Soul Sticker Bush album.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you were the factor where I wasn't sure if that was a full lock or a maybe lock. So if you say that needs to be on there, then it's going on
there. That was one I didn't get to until later in the year, but when I got to it, I couldn't stop listening to it.
Yeah.
No, 100% lock.
Oh god, we already have half a list.
So
I would also say the Lost Through Tanaka album is like, surely that's a guarantee.
I think so. So it's getting to the point where there are a couple records on here that I really pushed for that I think I don't know, maybe should they make it. The two that I'm looking at that again I both really loved and I pushed for to be on here is Ramla and Kelly Moran.
Ramla is probably not making it. I'm just looking at the rest.
Kelly Moran would make it.
Kelly Moran
has a chance. I think we can kill Ramla. I think we can kill
Ramla doesn't go. I think Kelly Moran has a chance at like the 9-10 slot.
The thing is, I think I was not expecting both of you to enjoy that Kelly Moran record as much as you did. I don't know why, but I was expecting that to be one that I was going to be really enthusiastic about, and you guys were like, eh. So I'm glad to hear this one is.
I've been listening to her music obsessively ever since.
Okay, that's really good to hear because I have also been doing this.
I do think the One or Tricks Point Never album.
Now that I was about to say, now that I'm looking at what we have left, One or Tricks Point Never.
It's a great record. It is. As a huge fan, it's his best since. I mean, this doesn't sound as complimentary because I know a lot of people don't like this record, but it's his best since Age of. As a huge Age of defender, I think is best since Age of, and probably there or thereabouts a top 5. One Tricks Point Never, which at this point in his career is unbelievably impressive. But again, I don't want to be putting artists in a top 10 for this, where it's like, oh, it's like a top 5 for their discography. It's like it feels to me. The albums of the year, it's artists absolutely top of their game, pushing the envelope. And I as much as I like that record, that is not that album. You know,
I'm just going to arrange these in a square rather than in a list because it's looking a little sorted already.
That's okay.
Let's put this one over here.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so what we got 6. So we need another 4 from the remaining 10. 4. So 6 are going, 4 are staying.
Zayok is probably not making it. Now that I'm like,
I'm sad to see it go, but yeah. So there are 2 records remaining on here, or maybe 3 that I would really push for. The 2 that top of my list I would really push for that are remaining are Giant Claw and The Nex. How do we feel about those 2?
I would say I would insta-lock The Nex. I'm less sure about the Giant Claw record.
I was going to say the opposite.
Oh, no. Here we go.
Okay.
I mean, I'd be happy with either one, but now that I'm looking at what we have...
Personally, if I was going to push for one above the other, it would be the Giant Claw record.
That's what I'm feeling as well.
But I am like, you know... I love everything Keith Rankin does. So like,
let's table these and move them next to each other.
Yeah,
near the top.
Those 2, I would very much like to see both of those make it. But
yeah, is Perverts making it?
No,
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's fair.
I want to put it on there. But,
yeah, there's just so much.
Looking at this. I mean, this is a showdown that I think we were anticipating. Lucy Bedrock versus Jane Remover, and I think Lucy
Bedrock has to.
No, hold on. This is not. No, these are not in the same category. If we were looking at, if we were looking at Revenge Seekers, they would be in the same category. These 2 are not even remotely similar to each other. I would never go like
they're a little similar to each other.
That's a Rage album.
No, but I would listen to
similar scenes.
I would listen to our music and be like, this is a pop album.
I was about to say, I would say Unmusic is a pop album.
And it's better than Jane Remover.
I would say Unmusic is a pop album. It has Rage production, but
for what it's worth,
songwriting is so pop to me that
I'm happy for the Lucy Bedrock album to. I was going to push for Lucy Bedrock for top 10 as well, but I don't think that.
Oh, but okay, I see. So you don't
But
think that
I don't
that's
think it
like
negates. I don't think it
okay.
negates.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
We'll put
Am
our
I
music
good
on
to put our music on the list?
Yeah, please.
I've won. Let's
I think
go.
that
I'm
we
whatever
mixed
else
it.
happens, I've won.
So how many have we got now? So 1, 2, 3, 4,
They're
5,
all
6, 7. So
clumps.
so we got three to add
Oh my
and
god.
what?
Okay,
3 to add,
I
4 to
think
kill.
Shallow Water and Geese are both not making it.
Yeah.
Is there any dissent to that?
Oh, so there's 3 more to go, which would be like
Yeah. I mean,
easily
those top 4, I would happily see any of those 3.
Yeah.
I'm happy to kill these 2, but I want this one moved up into this section.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That's because Jane Remover was the hill I was going to die on.
Okay.
Okay. Sure.
Now,
so
it's okay if if Jane Remover doesn't make any further, that's fine. I've already got quite a lot of my favorite albums on this list, but I am feeling the least good. If I was going to pick 3 here, I would probably pick.
I would pick the top 3 if I had to pick 3.
You'd go next Cormoran.
Yeah.
I would
with
go next.
Ubo as a very.
I would go next Giant Claw Uboa. Oh, we're losing. Uh-oh.
Next Giant Claw.
Hello? Oh no. Is it me? Oh, that's not good. Oh no. Hello? Is it me? It better not be me.
Okay, I can see you again, Bound.
Okay, I see you as well. I think it might have been me this time.
Oh,
because I lost both of you.
Yeah, I lost both. I lost both as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Tell Harry to get the fuck back in here because the stream looks crazy right now without him in there.
Oh god.
Even if he doesn't have his camera on, just for the sake of
the just for the sake of the layout.
Yeah, there we go.
Hello.
Okay, we're back.
Okay.
It was okay. It wasn't just. I was worried it was me because we both died, but it seems like the stream.
Yeah, no, I think it's
so.
Yeah.
Let's go just shit itself. Okay, let's just resync the audio. Oh wait, did we just keep recording that entire time?
Yeah, I didn't stop.
I didn't stop recording, so you can just cut it.
There you go. That's for me. Okay, so before we lost connection, we were just deciding on what looks like the best combination of 3 here. What are your top 3 out of these remaining 5, Bound?
The next Giant Claw and Uboa.
The next Giant Claw Uboa. Oh Jesus, we've all got entirely.
Yeah, we've all got.
Wait, what was yours, Harry?
So mine was the next Kelly Moran and Jane Remover.
So, what I'm hearing is we're all saying the next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I would say the next Giant Claw Kelly Moran. So the next has got to be on there then.
Okay.
If it all picking
Okay.
up.
What have I done? Oh, I hit Control Z by accident.
I'm happy to. I don't think I'm getting anywhere on the Jane Remover here. It appears to be a very, very much.
It's close, but
I'm happy for it to just barely miss the cut, like number 11.
Yeah.
In which case, I think I would probably move my vote to Kelly Moran.
Kelly Moran.
Oh, sorry, I already had Kelly Moran. If I was moving my other vote, would I go Giant Claw or Uboa? I don't really care.
Damn.
I don't really. I like them both. I guess I really like both of them. I don't particularly have a preference. I guess
this sucks because I wanted all 3 of these in the top 10. Is there anything from the top 10 I would
Well, that's
take
what I'm
out?
looking at
Absolutely
now.
not. My
Top 10 is so strong, man.
personal logic here, and again, this is based on, I guess, how I view these lists and how I view these criteria, is that 2 out of 3 of these records are probably the best thing the artist has released, and one of them isn't, right? And I would say the Oboa record is the one that is if we're talking relative to the discography of the artist, it's the one that isn't like the pinnacle of what they've done, right? If that makes sense. Whereas the Kelly Moran and Giant Claw records, I think, are handily their best releases. I guess
I agree.
Maybe not if you include Faith and Persona for Keith Rankin, but
I agree, but I think the Uboa is still
good,
and is still arguably her best in some respects.
Yeah, some capacity.
I think it is her best harsh noise and like musique concrète stuff. I think it's her best
I totally
writing.
Agree.
Like
this is so hard.
Yeah, like I
Okay, I've made up my mind.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick the album that makes us look cooler, and that's the Giant Claw record.
Yes. So my personal feelings are, if I had to push for one, it's Giant Claw here.
Yeah, I think Giant Claw moves.
Okay. And then I think it's between Uboa and Kelly Moran, and I would be so.
Oh wait, no, wait. My vote is for Kelly Moran more than Giant Claw.
Oh right, okay.
My vote is for Giant Claw in the instance that it's Giant Claw or Uboa as the last.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'm all in on Kelly Moran for the list.
Wait, so because I think we each have a different one of this 3 that is our that we would most want to be on here.
Yeah, for me it is Uboa, which
for me it's Giant Claw, and for Harry it's Kelly Moran.
Yikes.
Oof. Oh. I mean, if I've got to be the one to move, my heart tells me, and it's so sad.
I really want the Giant Claw as well.
It's so sad. If I have to take one off, it's actually Kelly Moran. If I've got to change, if I'm choosing between Kelly Moran and Giant Claw,
such a lame pick.
I know.
Well, who else has the Giant? To be fair, who else has the Giant Claw album on their top 10?
They're gonna take your hipster creds off you.
Can we do a top 11? No.
Do any of these ever go? You know what? No, I can't even say it. You're gonna laugh me out of the room.
What's this?
I would drop the Lucy Bedrock album for all 3 of these.
I almost said the same thing, you know. I almost said the same thing, but I felt my foot bound was gonna kill me if I said it.
If I had to, I don't want to say this because then I'm putting this as an option, but if I had to kill either Uboa or Lucy Bedrock for this list, I would sooner kill the Uboa album.
Okay.
But they're like my number 3 and my number 5 of the year. Like they're... Yeah. And I already killed both my number 4s, so...
This is the most difficult decision I think we've had to do on one of these album of the year lists.
This doesn't this isn't the the end. I'm happy to take. I've already dropped the Jane remover though.
Yeah.
I'm happy to let Kelly Moran go for the sake of finishing a list.
Okay. I'm so sad to see that one go because I've been absolutely addicted to it, and I think it is arguably the best composed record of the year. But if I've gotta, I don't know.
The final list looks like
that makes me so sad to see that almost make it.
Yeah.
Especially because I was coming in thinking I was going to really push for it, and but yeah, really close. But I think this is the right top 10. I think this is the correct top 10.
Would I take
for us?
Kelly Moran ever lost the Tanaka? If you were like, which one are you going
to? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
No.
If I was gonna
look, I love Kelly Moran.
Some ideas.
Incredibly
some ideas out there.
But Lost Tanaka has to be. Well, okay, right. What we can do is we can start ordering the 10, and then.
Okay,
see if
right.
it
And then
would slot in somewhere.
we'll see if we want we'll see if we
Yeah,
want a
put
number
Kelly
10 spot at the
Moran
very end.
one spot above the bottom. Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
out zone.
So what I would say is the the records that we were most considering swapping out for the Kelly Moran album are probably the ones that are going to be bottom of the top 10.
Yeah,
I would
so I'm
imagine.
gonna go ahead and lightly order them, fully open to
Yeah.
like rearranging, but I'm just gonna
Yeah.
put the
So
stuff at the top that I think needs to be near the top.
yeah, agree.
And probably this near the
Agree.
top. Oh, I hit Control C, not Control X.
Yeah.
Probably this
Agree.
one.
Yeah.
And this. That seems like a
Yeah.
a good top 5. That seems like it
could
makes
move
sense to me.
I could move that Heaven Souls album up.
Well, yeah, this
Really?
is like this
Well,
is
okay, no, as in that's
unarranged.
loose
This
order.
is like this is
yeah,
the
yeah.
top
Yeah,
5,
yeah,
and then this
okay.
is going to be the bottom 5.
Okay. So what I would have, I think I would have Euboa 10.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
But I would be happy to accept Giant Claw 10. I think those are the two. I think those two and
I would
Lucy
prefer
Bedrock
Giant Claw
are
10,
the bottom
but
3. What would you prefer, Harry? Giant Claw or Euboa 10?
Euboa.
Okay.
Sure. So Euboa 10, Giant Claw 9?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I think those are definitely the two. Yeah. The two that I would put maybe on a thing below.
Yeah.
And then this top of the list, you know, like again, throw it out some ideas. I would put the Billy Woods album as low as 4th, if I'm being honest.
I will throw hands.
I
am
didn't
willing
want to
to
say it, but I agree.
I am willing to accept not number 1, but again, this is
Okay.
my
right,
favorite album I've ever heard.
We'll get to that in a moment. So Euboa, Giant Claw. I think the Nex and Lucy Bedrock are 7th and 8th for me.
Yeah, I would be okay to move Lucy Bedrock below the Nex because all of us like are fully on board with the Nex.
If I'm being honest, I like the Nex more than the Lost Thunaka.
I think I'm with you.
I'm
really
happy
okay.
I'm happy with either. Like it's
you can move the Nex up.
I think they're quite similar in terms of like their appeal to me. So
yeah, you can move up the Nex. I'm happy for both of them. I'm just happy both of them made the 10 personally. I think I think there's not a I don't know, for me the Lost Thunaka album is so like because it is so singular, it puts it a bit above the Nex, but if you guys prefer the next record, then I'm happy to have that.
So the Serum album next? I think goes below the Side Pieces one. Is that what that was what it seemed
I
like
would have
to me.
the Serum album above
it?
I would have maybe just me, but I would have the Serum top 3, but I would look, I would accept do you know what? It'll be in the top 5. I'll take it. If it's 5th, I'll take it.
It's up to you, Harry. You were the one who originally pitched
what's the final call? I'm just going back to I'm just finding the spreadsheet.
Oh, so right now we're deciding which of these two.
I think the current order is fine.
Yeah.
That's where I would have it.
I would move the 23 WA album up 1. But that's because I absolutely I also
can't.
I also wouldn't mind. I also wouldn't mind.
I like this order for the list, but if there's anything we want to move around,
to be perfectly honest, I mean my other insane take, well not insane take, but the only change I would personally make is I would have Shiram 3rd, 23 WA 4th, but I know neither of you are going to agree with that, so that's fine. Yeah. Otherwise,
for me the only like it's just these two that for me I would switch the order of, but other than that I'm like
I for me the Shiram record is unbelievable. I think it has to I'm actually really happy with this as a top 10. I mean, we haven't actually talked too much, I guess, about what is now we're saying the album of the year. But yeah, and also I guess combined with all their other releases, I think going into this, we kind of knew, right?
Yeah.
That it was going to be between this top two at the very least. And for me, I have to push for both, not just Esto no Es on Show, though I think it is arguably the best record of the year, and I think the consensus record of the year between us. But also in combination with the sheer number of records of around this quality that they have released this year, to me 2025 kind of belongs to them as a group.
Yeah.
And it feels wrong to not have them number one. And I think if we are going to pick a record, this is the one.
Yeah, if it has to be just one, then this is the best one. It's maybe not, to me, it's not necessarily the most representative, which is my only hesitation. No matter what, one of their records goes number one. I just wonder if this is the one that should represent all of them.
I do agree with you in the sense that it's maybe not the most representative. It is almost a bit more ambient. It is a bit more considered. But I think that, to me, was almost the piece that puts it above those records to me, that made it really stand out. I think there is an extent to which this record almost takes a little while to warm up. Obviously, the first half is still amazing, but it has a slightly lighter feel to it that then once it sort of develops into that more the sort of more bizarre sounds, particularly on the last two tracks, which are incredibly long, I think it's just even more effective in the way that they sort of hold off a little bit for part of the record. I mean, I listened to this thing last night again just to be like, am I happy with putting this as the album of the year? Because I feel like this was going to be the discussion we had. And my feeling listening back to it was that, yeah, I think this is the right call.
I have something that might surprise you guys. Looking at this list, I think I'm willing to concede the U-boat to Kelly Moran, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, it feels... I feel like I have enough influence on this list. I think I have enough influence on this list.
I don't know. I feel like we've all had... I mean, this is the thing. I feel like between us, there are at least 5 records that we would all have in our personal top 5, top 10, right? I don't think there is any outsized influence by any one person on this, if that's your feelings. I mean,
no, but you said it. So I think we should do it.
I did say it.
But what I am going to say is I think I agree. I would make that change personally. Again, just because... Again, you have to split it somehow. You have to split it somehow, right? And for me, the fact that Yuboa released a better album than this last year.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I guess.
Now that I like see this list,
if we've got to pick a tiebreaker, that's the tiebreaker for me. This is an unbelievably strong top 10. I am actually really happy with this because I was expecting more choices like that. 10th versus 11th. But yeah.
How are you feeling
so
about
should
it?
we...
Yeah, I think this is good.
Are we happy with this? So should we go through...
There's a couple of mistakes, but
10 to 1?
Yeah, so number 10, we've had a change of heart at the very last second. We got the Kelly Moran album, Don't Trust Mirrors. Number 9, Giant Claw, Evan Supremacy. And number 8, we've got the Lucy Bedrock album and music. So I think that's a pretty good spread from all 3 of us over that last section. Number 7, Los Tufanaka. We are cooler than Pitchfork because we put it at number 7. Number 6 is The Next, Disquiet. Number 5 is Heaven Stalls and Sicker Brush, Dark Skin with Light Skin Problems. Number 5 is the Shirom album, Wind of Night. ... Number 3 is the 23WA album AZ. I'm very, very happy about that. Number 2 is Billy Woods' album Gollywog. And number 1 is Weed 420's live album Esto No Es Un Show. We did it.
Yeah.
We managed to get through all of that. And as you say, I mean, looking at this, it is really quite striking how much of this did release towards the end of the year, how a lot of I don't know, 2025 really came together at the end for me in terms of music. And as I say, I love to see how many records on here I would call genuinely like innovative and groundbreaking in a way that I can remember few other years in which those records were also the best records of the year, you know? And I don't know, this for a year that again took a while to get going, it's ended up being maybe one of the like most heartening years for me in terms of this top 10, in the sense that actually almost every single one of these albums makes me feel like really positive about the direction that the styles and the music that they're working within is going, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's very fair.
Now that we've settled that, can I go back to this issue we have with Harry of of Jane Remover's Heart being the best pop album of the past 10 years?
I don't think we got
Okay.
time. I don't think we got time to
That's a
unpack
crazy take. I'm sorry. I did enjoy
It's
it,
just
but
not. It's just not. It's so good.
look, okay, I'll listen to it again after this, and I'll let you know. But no, come on. I mean, actually, that is a good question. What is the best pop album in the last 10 years? Then
Pop 2 by
I
Charlie XCX. That's
I'm
Imaginal Disc.
happy to
I
say
Those are the
I prefer Charlie, to be honest. If I had to
I,
pick one,
I don't have time to put up with this. Let's end the podcast.
my take is Pang, but I know that's not
That's
super.
crazy.
It's great.
I know that's not super crazy take. Yeah, so that is our top 10 albums of the year. I think we all ended up really happy in the end with that. And I think unquestionably, despite the fact that Billy Woods released arguably his best record in his discography, 2025 belonged to Read 420. SNOSN Show is the album of the year. And yeah, thank you all for putting the effort in and going through all of these records. I mean, this is a huge sort of like day-to-day commitment of making sure that we are like super familiar and happy to talk about each one of these albums on something like this. Obviously it took a while to get it done, obviously with a lot of scheduling issues, but yeah, no, I'm really happy that we managed to come together and get this sorted in the end. And as I say, I'm really happy with the final list.
Yes, at some point we'll probably release a 2026 episode. We've already
hopefully soon.
Well, to be fair,
hopefully.
2026 has been pretty slow for albums so far, so I'm not feeling.
But there is one of the best albums I've ever heard. So
yes, we'll get.
There's a couple things I think we do need to talk about. But yeah, no. This has been, as always, I love doing these album of the year episodes. They're always. It always makes
one now. By the way,
sorry,
this is our fourth one now.
Oh my god, it is,
and it's the third one I've been on.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah, it is. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, I as I say, I love doing the album of the year episodes. Just reflecting on the year in this kind of way, in such a meticulous fashion, and also getting Harry and Bounce perspectives on what their favorite albums of the year are too. Because every year there are records that I have missed that I did not check out as the year was going on, and actually end up being some of my favorites of the year in retrospect. So yeah.
I wonder how long it would have taken you guys to tap into Weed 420 if I didn't push for it.
I feel like I almost want to say I feel like I would have got there by now, right?
Oh,
but
by now, absolutely.
I just don't know.
By now,
you just
absolutely.
Don't know, right?
I just wonder, how.
I think it would have been a couple months, to be fair. They weren't on my radar when you sent us the record. At all.
I mean, if there's one message to end 2025 and start 2026 by, it's fuck Spotify, talk to people about music.
Look, it's just great to have discussions about music in general, right? It feels silly to almost emphasize, but one proper conversation with someone who is passionate about music as you are is so much more enlightening and useful than like months and months of algorithmic trawling on something like Spotify. Yeah.
Nice. Right.
So have we got any more closing remarks, or are we happy to finish it off there?
I'm
Nope.
good to
I've
finish
just
the
got to
recording.
find all the edit points in this episode.
I do
They'll
not
be
envy you
fine.
for what you are going to have to undertake
We'll try to get it out
as a
soon.
result
Luckily,
of this.
we've
Yeah.
already got the
Am I
live
good
video. So.
to end the recording?
Yeah.
Yep. I'm going to end the
All right.
recording as well. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
All right. Should I end the stream now too?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Goodbye, 6 viewers.